Of snowy British Columbia to you listening around the world. This, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. If you want to take a listen to our archives, we have them free for you by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter @Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram, Spaced Out Radio Show. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including Rockin' Out to Bumblefoot, reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, and much more. Tonight's show is brought to you by Jive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Jive Charities today. You can find them on our website. Since 2008, Third Phase of Moon has changed the way people look up at the skies and wonder, are we alone? With over 770,000 subscribers and millions of views on YouTube, their goal is to be one of the top in the UFO field, and it's worked. Tonight, in a rare interview, we speak with Brent Blake Cousins about what it's like to be chasing UFOs and alien stories all around the world. The brothers also have a new Amazon series called Alien Nation, and later we'll get to a few of their team members like Rich Giordano, Dr. J, Doc Skinner, Quincy Rose, and Paula Asteria. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. Brent Blake Cousins, welcome to Spaced Out Radio, guys. Good to have you here for the first time.
Dave, appreciate you having us on. The brothers are here.
Aloha from Hawaii.
Yeah, you guys are like a couple hours behind me, which is really cool. You know, so you guys live in the past. We got Australia listening. They're living in the future. This really is a worldwide show in the fact that it is a very small world when it comes to the world of UFOs. I want to ask you guys right off the bat, because you don't do a lot of interviews. I mean, you guys are everywhere, except you rarely ever guest. Why is that?
You know, it's interesting. People reach out to us like, we want to have you on the show. Can you come forward and talk about what you're doing here at Third Phase Moon? It's like, you know, there's only certain people in our times that we've actually did interviews, and these are the people that were kind of the small channels, kind of the obscure channels on YouTube that were, you know, had a voice out there, and they're looking at Third Phase Moon, and they kind of had a close eye on it. And some of these people were looking at Third Phase Moon with a little critical eye on it, and we're like, well, let's just reach out to these people. Let them know what's going on behind the scenes right here at Third Phase Moon. And over the years, we became friends with a lot of these people that were once major critics at Third Phase Moon, but we gave them the interviews. Like, we just we didn't really want to go on the mainstream interview. If there was something that people wanted to know, like, look at these channels. You can find out. Look at Third Phase Moon, search interviews, and they come up. And that's why we came on your show, Dave. It's like, you know, you're a growing channel. You just reached your 10,000 subscribers. Congratulations on that. Let's get it up to 15 as fast as possible. You know, that first 10,000 is really hard to achieve. That's the hardest in this YouTube world, to gain subscribers. You know, it took us a while to get to our first 10,000, but afterwards, you know, things exponentially picked up. But, you know, coming on your show, you asked us, I think, a couple years ago to come on the show. Yeah, and we really just, you know, we don't do interviews very often. So, like you said, it is a rare interview, but we want to do it with people that, you know, have been following Third Phase of Moon, know about us, and not just want to talk to us about just because we have big numbers and they have no affiliation or even understand what we're doing. We want to talk to people that kind of been following us, know what Third Phase of Moon's agenda is. So I'm happy to be on the show, Dave, and Brent's happy to be on. So yeah, it's good to be here.
One of the things that I have noticed about the UFO field is I have become a little bit more into it, shall we say, over the last few years. And I'm not a researcher. I'm not like a lot of good people out there who are out searching. But it seems like the bigger name you become in this field, the more attacked you are, whether it's on social media, whether it's on, private chat rooms or forums. I mean, you just cannot escape the criticism. And, I think of you guys, I think of people like, whether it's Bob McGuire or Richard Dolan or Grant Cameron or Linda Moulton Howe, even the Stars Academy for that point. How have you guys dealt with the criticism that you guys have faced in your careers as ufologists?
Well, it's a good question, and I would have to say, it's probably a good thing we live here on the Big Island of Hawaii, kind of like isolated from everything. We kind of just like keep our eye on the ball, focused, dealing with the public that want to come and share their evidence and give them a platform to share it on. So when it comes to the point of, the stress or the criticism, you got to have a thick skin in this field, just due to the fact that there's so many skeptics out there, which is a good thing. You need to be healthy, and you got to be a healthy skeptic. But there is a lot of criticism out there. But I'd have to say over the past 4 to 5 years, there was a shift in what was going on in regards to what the public thought of Third Phase of Moon. I think everybody felt it, and they're appreciating what we're doing. So there's not as much criticism as much as just basically just jokesters. People behind the keyboards at home, they'll say their thing and they feel brave behind the keyboard and not really saying it to one's face. But I'd have to say the criticism is waning quite a bit. It's our percentage on our views of the likes and the thumbs up, it's up there to 96, 98%. And, 4 to 5 years ago, I think that was kind of unheard of in this kind of field. Everybody wants to shoot the messenger, it seems. But I think the evidence and the people are realizing that, hey, we're just showing what people shoot on their own video cameras, and they want to have it on a platform. We get the permission from the people that shot it. And that's one of our main agendas. And, people are realizing, hey, look, we're just sharing the information as fast as possible. There's not much animosity or like this criticism anymore.
No, and I think that's a good thing. And, we have all been guilty in this field of talking about people or talking about, the way things should be or whether or not we're hoaxing videos, and there's enough of that going on in this field because everybody wants that 10 minutes of fame on YouTube, because 15-minute videos are just too long these days, so we have to cut it down to 10. What is probably, and I've never asked you guys this, what is probably the most underestimated part of what you guys do? Because I've seen the good, and I have seen people come at you guys pretty darn hard over the internet, on Twitter, Facebook, elsewhere. What's been unfairly portrayed as by the public about you guys?
Again, that's a great question. And I think if you look at the whole big picture of what Third Phase of Moon has accomplished over the past 12 years being on YouTube, we've garnished the biggest archive of UFO videos on the planet. We've spoken and corresponded with more eyewitnesses than anybody in the field because, when you're the top of your field in the YouTube world as far as UFOs, people reach out to you. And that's what's great is people are reaching out to us. And I think people are underestimating the public has a forum, and it's Third Phase of Moon. So, I think a lot of the criticism that comes in and the false, I would have to say, theory on what Third Phase of Moon is about is they just don't quite get it. And that's what's interesting because we brought in a lot of people that were involved in the field and gave them a behind-the-scenes look of what's going on. And once they found out exactly what's going on, they realized there's a lot of politics, not necessarily politics in the government, but just politics within the UFO community. And it's a cutthroat kind of situation. Everybody wants to be famous, it seems. Everybody's got a book to sell, and everybody's an expert. But one thing about what we do here at Third Phase of Moon, again, I think everybody's missing the boat on some some of the criticism that we get is we never claim that we're experts, but we do claim that we're sharing the evidence as fast as it comes in, and we're the fastest on the planet doing it. We're the spearhead of the UFO field of what's new, what's happening right now. And I think people are realizing it behind the scenes from people, maybe I'll just keep some names and not say some of the names, but people high in this field are realizing, and they're seeing, and they're staying tuned to Third Phase Moon because we're breaking the news in real time. And I think that's one of the things that people are actually missing.
Do you look at the UFO field as that you're an actual part of it, or do you look at it that what you do is completely separate from everyday UFO life? Because, you know, it just seems like over the last couple of years, pretty much since the creation of the To the Stars Academy, that literally this field has become extremely divided on the science side of UFOs, on the experiencer side, on the political side. I mean, over the last year, we've seen it become extremely political. You know, how have you guys been able to kind of, you know, dodge your way through that very up and down road that this field is?
Again, great question. I'm glad we're able to talk about this stuff because, you know, there's a lot of people that are asking that question, and they want to know where our theory or our belief system is, or who do we back up in this field or who we don't. And, you know, one of the things that we kind of pride ourselves on is you've never heard Third Phase Moon do a hit piece on anybody. We're not that kind of platform. So we stay out of the politics. And if somebody has an issue with Third Phase Moon, we know everybody in the field, from the top ufologists down to, you know, the smaller guys. We've been in it. We've talked to everybody, and we know we know that there are people in this field that sometimes they're a little snooty, or they have a little attitude, and they consider themselves kind of, you know, the experts on everything, and they're not like giving room for a new kind of look on things. And I like it where we're at, is just because we're dealing with the public, and that's where it gets most exciting. These are just real people, like everyday normal people in all different various jobs, and, you know, so when you're dealing with the public, that's exciting. When you're dealing with a broken record in regards to this ufology world, everybody's talking mostly about the same thing, but I never see anybody bringing any evidence really to the table that is, you know, there has been some evidence recently. Well, 3 years ago, the TTSA brought out some evidence, but other than that, there's really nobody else actually that's brought any video evidence to a platform as the way we do it in a big scale.
Okay, you know, I want to ask you this because I would be remiss if I didn't. Okay, with your critics out there, you guys have been accused of faking videos in the past, putting up hoaxes, knowing that it's flares or drones or Chinese lanterns, and calling them UFOs. Yet you guys very much stand behind your work and have really been focused on the job that you guys do. You know, that for anybody, I know for me, would drive me absolutely batty if people were accusing me of being a huckster or a hoaxster with my own personal experiences. How have you been able to kind of tell people, look, that's not what we're about? You know, try getting to know us a little bit before you throw out these accusations. How have you guys gained that strength?
Well, you know, early on in YouTube, you know, it was a wild, wild west. There was so much out there. YouTube had no rules. They just said, do it. Get as many numbers as you possibly can. That was kind of what YouTube was suggesting to us. They were the ones giving us the rule book. Obviously, they've retracted some of these statements about what they tell content providers what to do. But, you know, back in the day, they're saying numbers, numbers, numbers. This is how a YouTube channel grows. And I can say this. Our YouTube channel is a small little YouTube channel. It's called Third Phase of Moon, and it's just about bottle digging. We're treasure hunters. We're doing some bottle digging. Next thing you know, we start to produce a TV show for the state of Hawaii. and is about the Hawaiian culture and Hawaiian activities. But we did a segment on a person that actually captured a UFO. We interviewed them, did it on location for the TV show, and we're like, well, let's just put it up on our Third Phase of Moon channel and see what happens. And that video went viral. And what I think YouTube was missing back in the day was there was really no face behind anything. There was just a bunch of, obviously, there was a lot of fake UFO videos. A lot of fake UFO, a lot of CGI, a lot of them good, a lot of them not so good. But back in the day, we're looking at it just like everyone else. We're like, this looks amazing. There's some amazing footage out there. So we're able to get permission from people. We're getting submissions from people. And yeah, when we're looking at some of the stuff, if you could go back in hindsight and go, well, yeah, this, maybe we should not put this stuff up for sure. There is, I would say, criticism deserved on certain points that we were putting out, in my opinion. Definitely. There was CGI that got through the cracks. But, you know, everybody's realized over the past 5-6 years, we've not put up any, as far as we can tell. We're looking at it a lot closer. We're giving it a lot more scrutiny. Like everybody, you know, 10 years ago, we're looking at things that look great. We didn't know the capabilities of people at home that were able to pull some of this stuff off. So, as I can say, what we're doing now is pretty much a 180 from what was done, I don't know, what was coming out 10 years ago. This is old. Yeah.
As we got about 6 minutes here before we have to go to break at the bottom of the hour, Blake and Brent Cousins from Third Phase of Moon are here. As you guys were learning like the rest of us, I think a lot of people, and I'm learning this too just by listening to you, I think a lot of people took you guys for UFO people. But from what I'm hearing as I learn more about you, and this is the first time we've really kind of talked intimately about this with our thousands of friends tuning on in, that really you guys, when you started putting up the videos, really didn't know a lot about UFOs, and you were just putting up a bunch of cool videos. But as you started getting into it more and realizing the attention to your YouTube channel was there, that's where you started kind of moving away from just any video will do to, hey, this actually looks like it could be real. Am I correct on that?
Well, you're semi-correct. We've always been into UFOs since we're kids. We've had experiences. That's another story. We've always loved the UFO topic. But back in the day when YouTube first came out, there was a lot of videos out there. We just didn't know exactly what we're looking at. And people wanted to share it, and we're putting it up there. And there was a lot of opinions on Third Phase of Moon, and people couldn't believe on how fast it grew. And nobody did. It was a phenomenon that happened. And I think there was a little following just due to the fact it got started because there was a face behind it, somebody presenting the UFO. I was called the Robert Stack of UFO police chases, but more like UFO videos. We're a little over the top. I could look back at some of these videos and I'm like, oh my God, because we're trying to make it bigger than what it was. But then now we're actually where it is. And it didn't take us long. I think about maybe 3 or 4 years, and we were just dominating the whole system of what, when you searched UFO, Third Phase Moon, Third Phase Moon, Third Phase Moon would come up and just like rule the search engine, which was interesting. But what happened was it was opening up this world. And at the end of every single video that we presented for years, we said, if you captured anything amazing, submit it to share it with us, Skype or Facebook, and we're dealing with the public, and we started interviewing people. Skype was kind of new, internet speech and how to do it in real time and video and conferencing and sharing it with a little entertainment with music and flashy edits. We still want to have a high standard so that people have the brain capacity to stick with it. You know, we want to keep people looking at it in a way that has entertainment, but dealing with facts from real people.
There's still a lot of people out there who, unfortunately, are gullible with a lot of UFO videos out there. You know, and hey, I admit sometimes I've been caught as well in wondering what is real and what is fake. But out of all the videos you guys get presented on a weekly basis, how many of them are complete CGI or fakes that you're actually just throwing right to the trash bin?
Yeah, I would say we don't really get any CGI videos anymore. People are smarter than that. They're not they know what we're sharing. And you're right, Dave. If every ufologist that put out every single UFO out there that they wanted to share, there would be none. Everybody's mistaking military flares for UFOs. Everybody's mistaken, strange things in the skies, and then we could find out what it is afterwards. Major television shows show, in my opinion, trash. The major media just represents anything that they show is just trash. They're blaming blurred stars, like people filming stars, and it's a threat, or they're filming military flares and saying, "Oh, it's a threat from another country." And there's the evidence that you're seeing here is, I could say this, about 5% of what you see on Third Phase of Moon is what makes it. There's probably about 95% that doesn't make it. It's not due to the fact that it's CGI. I just don't want to show blurred out stars over and over again. I don't want to see an insect where they say, you got to freeze it on 24.4 frames a second and you'll see it right there. I don't want to show any of that stuff. I don't want to show satellites. I only want to show that looks, in my opinion, what gets Brent's interest too is like, we look at the videos and we're like, is there something there? Does this look unusual? Can it be explained or dismissed easily? This is where it gets people's minds thinking that we're not alone. And I think this is where we need to be laser focused on, is we want people, when they watch Third Phase Moon, is to question whether we're alone, have a dialogue. And this is how we get our information. There's no other way.
So if 95% of the videos you get literally hit the trash can, as we got about 45 seconds here, what's the quickest and best advice you could give to people out there who are scrambling through YouTube looking at UFO videos? How can they quickly tell what is real and what is fake?
I don't think it's that easy anymore. You can't even look for UFO videos on YouTube. The major media has pretty much taken over YouTube on the search algorithm. So you really have to dive deep to look for what's out there. So we do our research. We do a lot of searching, but it's not easy to find these UFOs nowadays because they're just not out there. The easiest way to find out whether something's real or fake, just look at the channel. So see if they have a history of, like, I would stay away from people that call themselves, in a way, I don't know. It's hard to explain. What I'm trying to say is that Third Phase of Moon, you could expect to see the links from the original people that uploaded it. And usually they're just real people with real names. That's it. It's not a channel with some kind of crazy name on it.
Blake and Brent Cousins from Third Phase of Moon, their first time on Spaced Out Radio. Make sure you check out their YouTube channel. We'll be right back with the Cousins brothers right after this. Good job, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, good questions. Good questions.
Give you a few claps for that.
There you go. Yeah. Definitely, you can't find YouTube UFO videos like you used to. And the question is whether you're going to find a UFO video and see if it's fake or not. Usually, you just look for real people with real names, and you'll find out if it's fake or not. In my opinion, 90% of the people that shoot UFO videos, I'd say 99.9% of the people that we come across, there's no agenda. Zero. Probably, very rare is anybody say, well, I got a video. Can I sell it? Can I monetize it? What do I get out of this? No, these people are just regular people, and they just want to share it. They don't care. And these people are genuine, and they don't know what they captured. And they just want to know. That's it.
Well, I appreciate you guys doing this, and you know, our chat room is cruising right now, absolutely cruising. And as I say that, it stops for a quick second. You know, but no, I mean, I don't know. I've been going through a transformation lately with all of this, you know, just the shit that's going on in the world right now, and I am so down that I've come to a new rule that I'm gonna try and, you know, better myself as a journalist in this field and be a little bit more credible as well, and you know, because you know, when your audience grows, you know, and I've seen you guys grow, and I tune in, or every night before the show I tune in and watch Richie, and I tune into some other friends who have shows, and just watching their numbers start to grow and grow and grow, you know, ourselves included here, it really is you know, a testament to a lot of the good work that's going out there, and you know, it's humbling, and considering the shitbag this entire world is in right now, you know, to see something positive like that, man, it feels good.
Yeah, it's crazy because you know, we've been doing it for a long time, Third Phase of Moon, and you know, it's been my brother and I. Sure, we've have our correspondents like Dr. J and others that were involved over the years, but we wanted to make like this unit, a circle, and invite people. Yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit, but yeah, you know, it is there. I think it's a new people are more open to it now than they were just 4 years ago. You can't, these pilots that are talking, it's not so easy to dismiss what these pilots are saying. So it's pretty cool. Some people are very skeptical of UFOs, but then you say, well, what do you think these Navy pilots are saying? And then there's a conversation versus before there's no conversation about it whatsoever. Yeah. Now that, like somebody that was such a skeptic, well, now that Navy's involved, now they'll get involved with the conversation, where before they would have never got involved with it.
Yes. No, I can totally see that. Totally see that. And, you know, the one thing that I will also say, too, and this is a lesson that I'm learning myself, too, is, you know, like I talked about, you know, when I asked you last half hour about a lot of the crap that you guys have taken, you know, I remember people that I didn't even know coming up to me saying, hey, why did you have Third Phase of Moon in your chat room last night? I'd be like, well, anybody could come chat. And then, you know, all of a sudden they start kind of trying to drop kick people. And I would just say, you know what, dude, like, I'm sorry, but I don't judge people by your reaction. I judge people by how they treat me. And you guys have always been very nice to me. You know, thanks to your relationship with Rich, you got to know us a little bit here as well. And, you know, and I just appreciate...
That's right.
Yeah, and I just appreciate the way you guys have, you know, treated a lot of us here, you know, because I will fully admit, and I got no problem, as we got about a minute to go here, I got no problem saying that I was wrong about you guys and about others in this field, and it's kind of cool sometimes to be able to eat that humble pie and say, you know what, I got to know these guys a little bit, and they're good people. And I don't think we do enough of that in the UFO world. I really don't.
No, you're exactly right. Yeah, there's too much, I don't know, there's a lot of competition. You know, I think you know, we're in Hawaii. We have this Hawaii mentality. Yeah. It's a little rough for us growing up, you know, the only white boys in this school. Had to deal with a lot of stuff, a lot of you know, racial issues, to be honest. But, you know, you had to fight your way through it. Now you're friends with everybody, local community. It's all good.
Hold on, guys.
And the best way to...
Sorry. Second half hour is underway tonight on Spaced Out Radio. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. I want to remind you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com /Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter @SpacedOutRadio and on Instagram @SpacedOutRadioShow. We continue on with the brothers from Third Phase of Moon, Blake and Brent Cousins, and thank you, gentlemen, for joining us in a rare interview that you guys are doing because you don't usually do them. But let's talk some UFOs here for a little bit here, because we talked a little bit before in the last half hour about your channel, but you guys have been trying to nail down, and I think you've done a good job at nailing down a lot of UFO videos with the public. You know, most recently I was absolutely amazed by some of the footage coming out of Hawaii around this giant craft that was in the sky and then seen to go into the water. I mean, this is some weird things going on there.
You know, Hawaii's the hot spot. Obviously, you got Pearl Harbor, some huge military bases on our island and other neighboring islands. They're using and experimenting with aircraft that the public hasn't seen yet. We've spotted them with our own eyes. There's something going on around here, and why not? You would think that being in the middle of the Pacific, that you wouldn't want to optimize that as an experimental playground for some of these exotic craft. Meta propulsion vehicles is what we're calling them now. What's powering them? We don't know, but yeah, you know, Hawaii is a hot spot. You could talk to anybody around here about UFOs, and there's not any, for years, everybody knows that their family, their cousin, whatever, family members, they've seen so many UFO sightings out here. It's common. It's not something out of the ordinary by any means.
You know, and I look at it too on a little bit of a different sense, but where I am in British Columbia, we are surrounded by indigenous cultures. And a lot of the cultures around here really, really are very in-depth with their extraterrestrial contact, the UFOs. Is that pretty much the same way as it is? I've never been to Hawaii. I know. I've never been anywhere off of this continent. And so is it pretty much the same way in Hawaii, where the indigenous cultures there have almost like a connection to the star people, as they call them here?
Well, it's a good question. And off topic real quick, my brother and I was talking about how you would be a great character in one of our movies, that you would play this kind of like scientific dork with his communication system trying to make contact with the alien, and you'd be like this comic relief character. So maybe one of these days we'll get you down here in Hawaii and be in one of our fun movies.
That's Giordano for sure. I'll lend Giordano my beard. And then
we already got Richard's character down.
Oh, okay.
He's going to be another character. You'd play this other guy.
All right. I'll do that. I will do that for sure. But
yeah, I think the Hawaiians are open-minded. The culture believed in many gods. They worship the lava god Pele, Lono, the Kama Pua'a. You know, they have a heavy-duty mythology for sure. So I think a lot of the Hawaiians are open-minded, that, you know, the Hawaiians studied the stars. They're the best observers of stars, using it as navigation to cross the Pacific, to be able to sell their canoes to other parts of the Pacific Ocean, and know how to calibrate it to get to these islands without getting lost. They were the best navigators out there. Actually, hidden secrets still lost that we don't know how they did it back in the day. So these Hawaiians, it goes way back that they've seen things in the sky. So I think, sure, the indigenous people have a belief that there's something. I'm not exactly sure if they think it's from another planet or not, but some believe so.
I want to ask you, before you developed Third Phase of Moon, had either of you ever experienced not just seeing UFOs, but seeing aliens or having some sort of ET contact?
Well, I'm going to pass it off to Brent. And, I could say that we both had an experience. Brent, why don't you tell Dave that one?
You had to get straight to the point, huh, there, Dave?
Well,
that's a big question.
Hey, everybody's got some aliens, right?
Well, yeah, we told this story a few times on our channel. I think, maybe about 3 or 4 times. We haven't got in full detail, but when we told this story, it was kind of like, well, I'm not sure if we should tell it on Third Phase. It's kind of like it might be a little too much, but we'll just break down the experience. This was in 1974, 75. We're living on the island of Oahu, and this is back in the valley, a deep valley called Pololo Valley, and we're pretty much perched up near the edge of it. And it's kind of a landscape where if you're on the top of the valley, all you see is the suburban homes beneath you, and then everything else behind you is just like sacred lands that really hasn't been traversed ever before. We found some interesting Hawaiian grave sites in the area, even bones inside walls that were implanted there. We're not sure if this has anything to do with the encounter, but all we know is this place is a sacred area. So let's just break it down. 4 o'clock in the morning, 4 or 5 in the morning, Blake and I are in our room. It's dark, and we start seeing these 3 gray aliens that look like Skinny Bob, and they're wearing jumpsuits, black jumpsuits, and they're just pattering around our room. And we're in our bed, and we're looking at these things, both of us. So this is what I'm not sure. Twins think the same, and maybe they'll say the same things at the same time. But this is like we're not dreaming. We're both aware of what's happening, and we're not feeling any kind of intimidation. We're not afraid of what's happening. We're just kind of calm, and we could see them. They had big, dark eyes, and their heads were huge, but we almost called them like they weren't grays because we said their skin almost had the color of human skin, a white skin, and that was odd. And we don't know what happened next, but what we did do the next morning, we definitely went to Mom and Dad, and we said we had these 3 beings. We didn't know what to call them. We just called them, which is the strangest thing, because we didn't know what else to call them. We called them big butt heads because their heads were so big. They looked like somebody's big fat ass.
Right. But you don't know if you were taken or anything like that.
That's the question. No, we don't. And we can't explain. We can't go into that because we have no conscious memory of that. So we'll say we weren't taken, but you never know. So that was our kind of interest in aliens from the very beginning. And growing up at a young age, we'd go to the library, and the first thing we'd go to is, where's the alien book? Where's the Loch Ness? Where's Bigfoot? That's the only thing we're pulling out of the public library. That's what we wanted to see and read.
How did that really affect what you guys were doing? Did you have any other further happenstances like that where these aliens came back, or was it a one-and-done sort of affair?
Yeah. Growing up even on the North Shore of Oahu, this was in Pololo, and then our dad was a big-time surfer, pipeline master. They called him a tube master, something like that. And we moved to the North Shore of Oahu, and he loved to surf the big waves. And we lived right on the beach at Laniakea Beach, and is one of the best surf spots in the entire planet. And our dad told us one night, he was hanging out with one of his best friends, and he says, "Oh, we saw a UFO last night." And we're like, "And you didn't tell us?" "Well, if it ever comes back again, Dad, you wake us up, or you just let us know if you ever see it again." And about a month later, he says it's back. Get up. And it was about 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and he's seeing this. We're all witnessing it, and we have the full ocean views. We're right on the sand, and there's no obstruction. And we see a bright light probably about 3 to 4 miles out, and we could see it just zigzagging from left to right along the plane of the ocean. But this thing was traveling probably about 5 miles on every jump, 5 to 10 miles per second.
Unbelievable.
And then this thing just stalled out over the water, and then it dropped something, and something fell into the ocean, and the thing just took off.
So just like this Hawaii sighting with this blue UFO sighting that you were mentioning earlier, when the people said that it went over and dropped into the ocean, it brought back memories. We're like, that's it, Brent. That's what we're kind of, not exactly the same kind of object by any means, but still, it seems that there is a lot of UFO activity that contributes to underwater UFO activity for sure, USOs.
Do you look at the entire phenomena as being part of Hawaii's culture, or North America's culture, or certain people's culture? Because there. I guess what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of science around this, and a lot of people digging around the science regarding this entire phenomena. But I do believe that there are certain cultures, certain families that are almost meant to be experiencers, maybe because they're more open-minded, more spiritual, maybe they have some sort of alien connection, I don't know. But do you believe that you're part of that culture of the experience rather than the culture of the scientific or media side of everything?
Maybe a little bit of both, Dave. Definitely, our UFO experiences didn't stop even then. They continued on, and one of our most dramatic UFO experiences happened on our birthday, December 30th, 2010. A friend of ours said, hey, look, because they know we're into movies, we got video equipment. They called us up and go, hey, look, you got to come over to our farm. There's strange things happening over our farm every night, strange lights. And apparently this property was on this, again, a spiritual, sacred heiau, like old Hawaiian foundations still exist over there. Apparently they used to hold battles and celebrations. But anyway, while we're there, we saw the TR-3B that night. It just happened upon us. It was our best birthday present you could ever imagine. We had 5 eyewitnesses over there. We're screaming like little girls when this thing came down and ascended on us, this huge triangular-shaped craft. It was one of the most amazing things, obviously, one of the most amazing things you could experience. So, there's something going on, and we are part of both worlds, because we want to have people looking at our stuff as well. So we have friends that are in the FBI, physicists that are involved to the highest level, and we're in correspondence with them. We're sharing what we're receiving and getting their opinions as well, and trying to find out exactly what their thoughts are, and then try to rule out what it's not, and sometimes what are the possibilities if there is some kind of secret cover-up in regards to what we know about this whole UFO world. I think Third Phase of Moon will eventually be the platform that's going to bring it to the world. Like, here it is. I don't think there's going to be any other place. I don't think the major media is going to put it out there in regards to sharing the truth. It's going to be somebody like a channel like ours that's going to break it wide open. And I think we've already shared disclosure in its own way with the evidence that's brought forth. And a lot of the evidence we brought forth still has not yet to be explained. And that's interesting to me. And even the people that we're dealing with can't explain it away. They're open-minded. They're skeptics, but they're open-minded, which is cool. Like these people that are involved in these high professions, and they still communicate with us because they find it interesting what we're doing, because they know we are getting the information from the public. And that's about as best as you're going to get to the source. And just recently, I have some files that came in earlier today, and it's going to be amazing. I'm kind of giddy about it because I just received these high-res images of these maps of 29 Palms Marine Facility Base. And I'm not going to say exactly what we found within these maps and this old paperwork, but this is what I think Third Phase Moon's all about. Somebody's going to find something in their closet. Somebody's going to find something buried. Somebody's going to find something that nobody knows about. It's tucked away, and just because of circumstance, somebody maybe passes away, something, maybe issues were involved, but there's things that are hidden that will be revealed, and it's just a matter of time. And apparently we received this paperwork from an Indian reservation as they're going through a trailer of somebody that deceased, and they came across these papers that may blow a lot of things wide open. And I'm excited. This is going to be something major. So Third Phase Moon's on the forefront of just getting that information out. Brent, you got something?
Yeah, I was just going to bring up this year's been wild. There were pretty much, we just got past it. 2020 was kind of this whole thing, and we kind of grew stronger over what just happened in 2020 because we created a team, a solid team of people that really love what they do and are passionate about UFOs, such as yourself too, Dave. So like you're around too, 8 months ago, we reached out to our source and we wanted to get people kind of chiming in, bringing in their kind of opinions of what's happening on a daily basis in this UFO field. And it was a wild ride, and it was a cool idea. And we could see people's nature of people, how they loved this new kind of aspect of what was happening in that third phase of moon. And it was a neat accomplishment. And I don't think we haven't put up an upload pretty much every day. Maybe we missed a couple, 5 over this past 8 months, but our team has been solid from Rich Giordano, Doc Skinner, Apollo, Dave Scott, Dr. J. Everybody's been on it this past 8 months, and I just want to thank everybody on that one. Appreciate it, guys.
Speaking of which, you guys have a new series that is out that I believe is on Amazon. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that and why you went in the Amazon direction?
Well, we're not going in a particular direction, except I'd have to say we want to get the people being aware that we're here, obviously. And I think on YouTube, we're achieving 3 million views a month right now, almost 300,000 views a day. But you just never know. YouTube is a weird platform right now, but it's always shifting. So we got to shift with YouTube. So we've been around YouTube for quite some time. And it's great that we're able to pass that knowledge to some of our team members to let them know kind of the insides on how YouTube works. But the Amazon Prime that we've come out with is called UFO Report, and it's out there. And we wanted to also spread the information because not everybody's a YouTuber. There's a lot of people on Amazon, and they just want to stream it on Amazon. So we've opened up a platform. We have 5 seasons, and right now it's doing quite well. I think it's up to almost 1 million watch minutes on YouTube. On Amazon Prime. UFO Report, and even Dave Scott's in there. Like Brent was saying, about 8-9 months ago, we reached out to you, Dave.
Yes.
And what did we ask you, Dave? What did we asked you of some kind of service? You tell everybody.
Oh God. You were just like, you want to do this, like, I was shocked. Let me put it this way. I was shocked that you guys called. I'm still shocked to know because, Amazon Canada sucks. I will say this. You don't understand, our American friends here, you don't understand the plight that we have here in Canada with Amazon Canada and Netflix Canada. They cut out a lot of really good stuff. I remember one time I was supposed to be on this one show. I'm like all primed up. All right, here it comes. And it didn't come on in Canada for another month and a half. So, I mean, it's, in working with you guys approached me and you said basically that you wanted to start a team of credible people who both had journalistic and research integrity out there and get more formal points of view. And you asked me actually very politely if I was interested in doing that. And I said, absolutely I would be. I mean, why wouldn't I? Right? It's not about trying to get my face on TV. Look at this mug. It's not pretty. I know the people in Radioland will not be able to see it, but it's not pretty. But you guys, you wanted to bring a different way to it. So that's why when you guys asked me, I was like, sure, why not? Why not help out?
I think it was we came up with the concept and we're like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do it with a team and get it done efficiently so we could put up an episode every single night and keeping up with any major production in television. But we were doing it every night, and I think we produced 30 episodes, and it was incredible what we were able to do, where I asked every team member, and nobody failed, actually. I'd send what was coming into Third Phase of Moon on a daily basis and share the information to the team members, and each team member would actually film themselves on their iPhone or whatever video they had, upload that video and send it to me, and I was able to put it into our timeline and then show the video and get everybody's responses and produce these 22 30-minute episodes on a nightly basis. Nobody was doing this on the planet. And we're always doing things. I think Third Phase of the Moon's always like coming up with new ideas that keeps it new and keeps it fun and keeps it relevant. So we're always fine-tuning it, but it's interesting. And we could always go back to that kind of a style, which we always will. And I think we brought Dave Scott recently on one of our episodes when we talked about the Bigfoot and Mothman, because we knew that you love these cryptids.
Well, I mean, if you got aliens, you might as well get some Bigfoot in there, too. You got Bigfoots as well, But, yeah.
From an eyewitness.
Yeah. I would love to see another one. Do you believe, as we got about 2 minutes to go, do you believe that all of this phenomena somehow, one way or another, is connected?
The phenomenon of, what do you mean? Paranormal?
UFOs, paranormal, aliens, Bigfoot, the night marchers that you have down there, all that sort of phenomena.
I would separate a few of the phenomenon. I think there's certain things. I think there's this thing called meta propulsion craft, and I think the meta propulsion craft is something government, something developed within a private corporation that has these things that you would characterize as otherworldly, and then there are things that are otherworldly, and then there are spirits and legends. I think we could separate some of these things as you would separate species of life form.
There's a lot of people out there that tend to think that, there is something congruent with this, and I never get to use the word congruent enough on this show. Do you believe that there is, even though they're different phenomena, that there may be this invisible thread? Because there's a lot of people who have Bigfoot sightings who automatically then see UFOs around, and vice versa with paranormal and aliens. And I'm just curious, do you think that there is some sort of link?
I think we all have this as a human character that we all want to find out whether we're alone. We want to know if there's ghosts. Obviously, we want to be able to communicate with family members that may have passed, things along those lines. But then again, man, what if we're all in this one huge consciousness and we're just in a big brain cell, and everything that we're part of is designed to give us this semi kind of question and entertainment in our mind to think about all this stuff. So it could be all connected as a program.
Very true. Gentlemen, I'm going to get you to hold on right there because we are through hour number 1. And in hour number 2, we're going to hook up with a few other people here on Spaced Out Radio to come join us to see if they want to talk some aliens, talk some UFOs. And you know what? Maybe we could convince the Cousins brothers to stick around. They are busy guys. They do have some editing to do. And I'm sure they've gone through about 17 computers in the last 2 years editing all of their film that they have had to do for their channel, Third Phase of Moon. We're going to get into UFOs next again here on Woo Friday on Spaced Out Radio. Make sure you stay tuned because hour 2 is right around the corner. All right, gentlemen, I'm just going to quickly run my dogs out. I'll be right back, okay?
You do that.
All right. Have some commercials.
Together on the FOR site supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother is watching.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. All right, we're going to get the other guys in here. Hold on. Let's go here. And here.
We also got our documentary Countdown to Disclosure coming up.
Right on.
The real technology behind the Space Fork.
Nice. All right, we're just waiting for the G to join us. There's the G.
Hello.
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 All right.
Hello.
Dark guy.
Hi, guys.
This guy's on the team.
Hi.
That's the G.
Hi, Paula.
Hey, Bob. Bob Gray, if you want some hair, you got to wait till
Hi,
it's longer.
Paula.
And there is Dark
Hi.
Hour. Who else we got?
All right, get them all.
You sound good.
Just to let you know, Dave, I go by the name of Michael Roser. I know that it says Quincy on my Facebook, but I just want to let you know, man.
Okay.
All right. All right. Let's see if Apollo is going to answer.
Paula's going to answer.
Hello.
Be fun.
Hi, guys.
Oh, gee.
What do you mean? I'm A. Hello. Is this thing on? Oh my God. OMG. I think he turned me off.
Now, the good news is we've just found out from Australia that we are alive tomorrow, so that's good. Apollo is not answering. Hey, Doc. How you doing, Doc? Dave?
Doing good.
All right. I'm going to drop. Do we know if Dr. J's coming in?
He's not here.
Yeah, I don't know. I tried to call Dr. J. Let me see if he's.
I'll call him.
We've got 1 minute. Hey, Brian, how are you? Big thank you to Chris Reap, Chu, and Reverend Keith for the super chats tonight. Really do appreciate the support. Thank you to everybody who's given us a thumbs up and thumbs down. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And as we push for 15,000 by May 24th, that's my birthday. I want 15,000 subscribers. That's what we're pushing for. So if you could, that would be great. Okay, let's try Paula again. She seems to be online now. We got about 30 seconds.
Oh, good.
All right.
Hello.
All right, Paula has joined, and everyone just we are about 15 seconds away from loading up the second hour here.
This is Apollo.
Hey, I was just wrapping up another interview. Are we recording now?
Yeah, we're on, Apollo.
We're live, not recorded. Here we go. Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us tonight. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears. We want to welcome back everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on TalkStream Live, KPNL, and Revolution Radio. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Paleopedology. Paleopedology is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. We continue on with the Cousins brothers from Third Face of Moon, but we brought in some friends as well. And why not? We have, from Goofon, Rich Giordano, Dark Hour, Paranormals, Michael Roser. And we have Paula Astoria. Hello, first time here. And Doc Skinner's first time here as well. And we're all going to be talking some UFOs. What is going on in the world? What is happening in the land of aliens? Everyone, welcome back to Spaced Out Radio.
Glad to be here.
Oh, Rich, you've done
Likewise,
this before.
thanks for having me.
Thank you very much.
All right. You know, everyone is kind of teamed up with Third Face in regards to UFO report and everything along those lines. You know, and the subject has really grown. And as we stated in the first hour, there is really a lot of information going on, whether it's from the government, whether it's from researchers who have been doing this for 25, 30 years, whether it's the amateurs now who are just looking up in the sky because there's nothing better to do than stare up at the stars for the first time in years, and they're seeing things that they have never seen before. Doc Skinner, I want to bring you in here first, if you don't mind, in regards to this, because you've been doing this a long time. In the way that ufology has changed, especially since the entire COVID crisis with people being stuck at home, how much more evidence do you think we are getting that is legitimate evidence comparatively to people not knowing the difference between a UFO, a satellite, a drone, or anything of that ilk?
Well, I think people are more adept to seeing and believing because I think they want to believe. I'm the guy that's from the movie industry, so I try to debunk once in a while, kindly. And, I think the movie industry has planted all those seeds in our minds that we've seen so much of it that it's kind of like desensitizing us, basically. So if it does happen, a lot more people won't have heart attacks. But the fact that everybody's home, we've all been grounded for a year. A lot more people are going out and seeing stuff, but we do have a lot more people with drones. We have big corporations that are putting on drone shows. You get people that may not understand about drones. They may know that they exist, but they don't really know what they can do. And people might put some things in the sky. Also, what are the candles that float up with the bags up in the sky? Chinese lanterns. Chinese lanterns. Sorry. Those have been mistaken, and I think they've what's the word I'm looking for? Baffled all of us, and sometimes we've all seen something and we're like, oh yeah, that's what it is, and then we find out later that's not what it was. So there's nobody that's immune to being fooled by
exactly.
Yeah, and so it does happen. I don't know if there's as many hoaxers out there as there used to be, because like Blake said, they've gotten smart. They've caught on to it, that, people can figure it out. So
that's what this whole idea at Third Phase Moon, when he started this up, and
I'm glad the whole panel's on. I think we're missing Dr. J, but I'm glad everybody's joining us tonight. From Richard from Goof On, we got Doc from Doc's 1028 Productions, we got Michael from Dark Hour Paranormal, and Apollo from Apollo's Odysseys, and even Dave Scott. So these are the people that we've been collaborating over the year, trying to have people look at the UFO videos, and people that have been studying it all this time to have their own, opinions on things with a kind of a collaborative of people's minds.
Yeah, it was pretty cool when Doc Skinner and Goof On actually, they hooked up for the first time, the collaborators that we just worked with this past 8 months, and they're able to work together on a team. And we had the exclusive interview with Dr. Greer just a couple of months ago, and that was a really good collaboration between Doc and Goof On. How did that happen again? And what kind of information did you guys get? You actually got some pretty good insight.
Well, not only good insight, but we actually got VIP first interview treatment. They beelined straight to us. It was actually kind of cool, but a little bit intimidating because he had his entourage. But it was an amazing interview and a good presentation, great presentation.
When we
Rich?
Rich, fill us in. You were there.
I was there. It was incredible, actually. It was the first time I met Dr. Greer, and they beelined right over to us. We thought we were going to talk to him much later. We didn't know, and he showed up right on time. And I was getting our VIP passes up front, and I come out and I hear Greer say, "I hope your buddy shows up soon." I'm right here. I'm here. Oh, my God. It was very nerve-wracking. I almost fell over. Doc caught me. There was a crowd of people gathering around behind us, and it was just like a red carpet type of thing, man. It was weird being in the center of attention. You could feel everybody looking onward and cheering Dr. Greer, and it was really good. And he dropped a bombshell that he got this evidence that he can't show us of an alien autopsy, I believe, if I'm correct on that.
Rick doesn't always give full access, but he knew that third phase of moon was going to be there, and we're like, "Oh, we got some people in Arizona. Can you give them access? We need the VIP passes," and then we're able to get Doc and Rich these VIP passes and this exclusive access to Greer. So this is amazing, and even Paula Asteria, while Dr. Greer was in in California, we're like, "You get over there, Paula," and as we're shooting our documentary Countdown to Disclosure, we're able to get access for a follow-up interview, and Paula Asteria was able to even interview Dr. Greer on location.
I did. It was a really incredible day. I rolled over in my lime green alien Jeep and pulled up to his place out in Marina Del Rey, and we had a great interview, talked about a lot of very interesting things. My camera guy didn't do so well on his end, so sorry about that, guys at third base. But yeah, it was amazing having conversations with him, especially after, seeing him for so long with everything he's done in the disclosure scene. Like, he's done so much for the disclosure movement. I mean, more than a lot of people that have been in it. I mean, he's been a part of this for so long, and I actually have been, following him for years, and I think the first time I actually saw him in person was about 7 years ago at Contact in the Desert. If people don't know what that is, it's like the Woodstock of UFO conventions, and Joshua Tree, a little south of LA. So, that was my first time I saw him. I believe he had that little alien, and I was like, it was my first time at a UFO conference. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy has a real alien? I'm like, oh my God, this is insane. So, that was my first time seeing him, and I've actually DJ'd his his premiere for a previous documentary that he came out with. So it was amazing actually getting to sit down and do an interview with him, and we definitely talked about a lot of interesting things, especially his new app coming out. That is really cool. I definitely recommend everyone checking that out. I think it's called CE5.
Paula, I want to ask you a quick question here, because the beautiful part about 2020, and this is completely off topic here, and I would actually like to have you on the show just one-on-one about this, but 2020 we saw a real influx of young women coming into this field and really starting to bring some good information, good interviews, solid research. I think of you. I think of Nicole Sakic. I think of a number of other people. Geraldina Roscoe as well. Yes, she's been around a couple of years, but she's really taken off. Do you think this is a resurgence of women in ufology that we're starting to see, because it's so been dominated by men for so long?
Yeah, I definitely have a lot to say in regards to that. I've actually been a part of the UFO scene for years, but, I started with kind of hosting events, different conferences. People would have me come in and host, starting, I think, a few years back. And then I started giving presentations at different events around here, and eventually moved on to reporting for UFO news networks and then my own show. So I've been kind of, in the scene for a while, but I guess I'm just kind of starting to come out a little more now. But I think what's interesting about women in the UFO scene, I mean, there are a lot of women that are in the UFO scene that have been around for a while, especially Laura Eisenhower. I actually just got off an interview with her. Man, we went through some really incredible things.
She's deep.
No one knows who Laura Eisenhower is. She's Dwight D. Eisenhower's great-granddaughter. But, man, so what I think is interesting about women in the UFO scene is, men kind of come at things just from the way men are wired. They like to come at things from very technical aspect. They want to, it's kind of more of a left brain kind of thinking. But like women, we're very intuitive and we see things more in an energetic sense. And I think a lot of men kind of tend to overlook this when really it's just kind of like a different kind of science. It's not like, a very technical, like physical science. It's a metaphysical science. And that doesn't mean it's not any more real than like, a more solid, like by the books kind of science. So, I think that's what's really kind of overlooked with women. And, I think a lot of women in the UFO scene, there has been women in the UFO scene for a long time. And, we all understand this, but I think it's definitely something that's coming to the fore a little more nowadays because, we are shifting into the age of Aquarius, which is a more divine feminine energy that we are coming into at this time. And I think that's kind of given space for, these characters to step forward and, share their side of things. And I think it's definitely amazing to see more of a balance in the UFO scene because
absolutely.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. Because when we started the team about 9 months ago or so, we're like, okay, we need a female's point of view on this. And I got to thank Doc Skinner from 1028 Productions because we're kind of like, you got anybody in mind? What do you think? We're over here in Hawaii. We're kind of limited on like people that know their stuff on UFOs, been around, So we're searching, and Doc Skinner, 1028 Productions, he's like, I got the girl for you. And he introduced us to Paula, and we're like, we found out about Paula's background, what she's been up to. She's been to the pyramids. She's been on locations. She's been doing this for years. And a lot of people were underestimating actually Paula's ability or even, her experience in this field. And they didn't realize that she's been doing this for quite a while and she knows a lot. So it's really cool that actually women are actually having a voice in this because it has been dominated by men all these years.
I think it's great. I really think it's great as we push the needle forward because in the end, much like politics, UFOs isn't a men or women's thing or whatever you want to define yourself as. It's an everybody thing, much like it's not a political side of Republican or Democrat or Libertarian or whatever you choose to side with. This is something in a subject, Michael, that literally is going to affect everyone on this planet. And, when you see, and I don't like talking politics on this show, but when you see the politics getting involved with ufology, really, I think we're all remiss and not better for it, for allowing that to really take over the who, what, where, when, why, when all we're trying to do is all solve the same problem. Mike.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, absolutely. I agree with you on that. It's interesting because there are so many researchers in the field, by and large, and of course there are some in our military, and they know what they're doing. They've been doing this for a while. Perhaps they've had more contact, at least in the way of the technology. But in the end, as human beings, whether we have disclosure or not, whether we understand the ET presence or not, it's still something that affects us all. either way. So, when you look at some of these people that are higher up and they have this information and they're cloaking themselves behind a veil of national security in terms of withholding some of this information, I don't think that's always the case, and I think it's a real easy cop-out to use that when they want to keep something under wraps. It's doing more damage to people than good in holding these things back. I think at this point, perhaps in history, there was a very valid reason to keep some of this stuff secret, maybe in the way of consciousness and being able to digest some of these new world concepts, really. So, I mean, if we were able to at least find some sort of common ground, and no, I don't think the 180 days that we were allotted is enough, and I don't think what we were just given from the CIA as a dump was enough. But if we could find a middle ground somewhere to just, as a population of humanity, to move forward with these subjects, I think we would be much better off, and in the end, the power wouldn't be so misaligned, in a sense, with who has this information.
And by the way, I will go on record as saying I think you have nicer hair than I do.
I appreciate that, but I'd have to come back against that. Look at that wave you got. It's a classic wave. I don't even have product in there.
You don't even need a flat iron. I do. We could debate this all night long. Hell with everyone else. We could debate the hair game, but you got a solid hair and beard combination going on. You need to be proud of that.
I appreciate that very much, Dave. Likewise, brother.
Absolutely. Rich, I want to ask you about the whole political side over the last couple of years in ufology, the way it's really kind of trended towards, taking political sides. I mean, we even saw that, numerous people coming out saying that even though, the president was literally talking about UFOs, it seemed almost monthly, that it had to be a Democratic president that needed to disclose. I mean, we've heard that from everybody from Tom DeLonge to Stephen Bassett from the Paradigm Research Group and numerous others, because
of course
this is always supposed to be the Democratic way ever since Obama was in. Now, I'm not wanting, me, Rich, we talk about this. I don't want to get too deep into the politics, but there is a political game being played in ufology.
Yeah, well, that's what we thought we would get if Hillary Clinton was president. Podesta was in her ear, and she always wanted to talk about it. Bill was trying to get information when he was president, supposedly. But, yeah, it's interesting how the left wants to get disclosure out there on their watch. And without being too political, Dave, I mean, we are seeing a lot of Twitter people saying that, and you go to other platforms which no longer exist, and they think that the right should be disclosing it. So it is a very interesting wave of information we see from two different sides. I don't really care what side puts it out there. Just put it out. All right, enough playing games. I want to see it, and I don't want words. I don't care about 2 million documents that I know that aren't going to give me any video evidence, which we've been promised from TTSA we would see, and we haven't.
Blake and Brent, in regards to the whole political side of disclosure, do you guys feel that UFOs have become almost a political battleground?
Well, absolutely. And the problem is the major media, obviously, is major left. They don't want to speak for some reason. I don't know. In my opinion, they don't want to take any testimony from the public, even though the public's got better evidence than what these military videos released by the TTSA. Actually, those TTSA videos, we got to find out, or at least let's get the whole video before we come to a conclusion, because Third Phase Moon's put out videos over the years that blow those videos out of the park, and the major media doesn't want to touch it. And in my opinion, this is some kind of conspiracy. If you ask me, we've reached out to the New York Times, the LA Times, even we've asked our team members, right, Richard, and even Dr. J. We said, reach out to these people. Let's share the evidence as it comes in. We could give them special reports. And I could happily say that Jaime Maussan, recently out of Mexico, has picked up Third Phase of Moon. We're collaborating with that country, and they're sharing our stuff. So the major media in Mexico doesn't have a problem sharing Third Phase Moon content. They actually love it because they know it's the best stuff out there. But what's crazy is the American media doesn't want to touch it.
And I got to say something. I'll just say something about too. Is like over the past 8 months, we've been so active with creating a team and creating documentaries, and even a lot of our panel members right now are participants of that, which is pretty interesting. Doc Skinner, we're working on our documentary, Countdown to Disclosure, that's going to be coming out February 16th. Sorry for the plug right there, but actually Doc Skinner was so cool because we said we need to talk to Bob Lazar, because Bob Lazar had something to say, because we needed his input about what was just being dispersed on the news about these off-world vehicles being discovered, and the Pentagon was about to release something. And then again, it got really exciting because that moment we're able to get Bob Lazar on the phone with our buddy Jim Goodall through Doc Skinner. Tell us how that broke down, Doc.
Oh, sorry, I had to hit the mute button. Well, you guys called me, and I put on an event called Disclosure Con each October, except for this past one due to the 2020. And I had Jim Goodall at my event, and Jim Goodall has been named the world's foremost expert on spy planes.
We just had him on a couple nights ago.
Oh, okay, yes. So you know Jim, and so I knew his relationship, and I said, he liked the boys, he likes the brothers. So I said, would it be feasible if you could sit here at my dining room table and give Bob Lazar a call and see if he'll let us record it? So he called him, and he told him we're recording this, and he mentioned my name, and actually I was kind of giddy. I was like, oh wow, Bob Lazar heard my name. Holy crap. But I kept it down. I was cool, acting. And so we got that, and he had some things to say, which I guess you'll have to wait to see the film, right, guys?
I would assume so.
Right.
I look forward to it. We only got about 25 seconds here, so go ahead, Brett.
Yeah, let me just say this really quick, because we dropped our trailer for Countdown to Disclosure on our YouTube channel and shared it on some other platforms. And then what's crazy is 2 days later, we had this drop of the 180-day countdown to UFO disclosure that was released. And this is very incredible to me.
All right. You know what? We're going to get into the 180-day disclosure when we come back. We got an incredible panel tonight. Blake and Brent Cousins from Third Phase of Moon, Rich Giordano. We have Doc Skinner. We have Michael Roser and Paula Astoria talking UFOs all night long on the mighty SOR. Stay tuned. Spaced Out Radio continues right after this. Good job, guys. Good job.
Thanks. Good panel tonight.
Good panel.
It's good to be here.
I think we need some clapping. We're missing some clapping right now.
Man, I just got off a 4-hour show with Laura Eisenhower, and going from her wild world to this is so different.
Oh, you're all warmed
Much
up.
different vibe. Great. Yeah, she definitely warmed me up. I'm trying to come back down to earth to be here with you guys.
There you go.
I have root beer chapstick if anybody wants. Root beer chapstick. Anybody?
Oh wow, that sounds nice.
70s. I remember that in the 70s.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know if you guys have experienced this before, but after you get off an interview with some people, you literally feel lighter than air, almost as if the energy has changed in the space that you're sitting in, and it takes you a moment to ground and come down. I don't know if you guys have experienced that before. It sounds like
I'm definitely feeling that right now, especially with Laura.
Yeah. No,
oh man, Laura's
like da-da-da-da. Laura goes da-da-da-da. Laura's fast. She speaks like her vocabulary and the way she puts her syllables together is pretty quick. It's almost like a fluent Spanish person speaking in English.
She channels when she talks. It's so incredible. It's sometimes I feel like I just want to take what she said, clip it out and stretch it out and go into each little part. Oh, hey, I want to say by the way, my name is Apollo Asteria, not Apollo Astoria.
Oh,
Sorry, I don't want to be like
Astoria.
annoying, but I just
And for the record, Astoria is the place where Goonies was filmed.
Really? I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Astoria,
Where is
Oregon.
that?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Where is that?
Astoria, Oregon, on the
Oregon.
coast.
Oregon. Yep.
Yep.
I haven't
Sorry.
seen that movie in a long time.
Watch it again. You're a Goonie.
Yeah, it's been
Astoria.
years.
You're a Goonie.
You are a
Bro.
Goonie.
Oh my God.
We're all Goonies.
Oh, yeah.
Goonie.
And then everybody goes silent.
Oh,
Just like
Yeah,
that.
Goonie.
Just like that.
It's like, okay.
it could have been like.
Just
you know,
absolutely schools me, bitch slaps me.
Goonies
Shut
been
up, it's
about?
Astoria. You Canadian jerk. Throw my heel at you.
That's funny. Oh,
Yeah. By the way,
Goonies never say die.
for people who haven't been on this show before, we are hot to mic on YouTube. So just
so we're just filling you up with dead air. My bad.
yeah. No.
Jeez.
I could turn the commercials up, but we basically the way we do it, we're on 6 terrestrial stations now, and so I will edit this show tonight and put it in segments. So this show will play Monday night and on our terrestrial station. So that's kind of how it works.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then the idiot Dave, who hosts the show, says, Woo Friday. Yay. How smart is that?
It is Friday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my! This is my third show tonight.
But when you're playing this show on Monday, saying Woo Friday really doesn't work.
Oh.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
But with everything going on in the world, it's like it doesn't even matter what day it is anymore. They all feel the same.
I mean, I
At
feel
this
like
point.
like 2020 just skipped it. Like it's just crazy. Been crazy.
No, and it's funny looking back
You
over
say
the
that
last
again.
year.
Oh, there you are, Mike.
What's that?
I said, there you are.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, I was saying, over the last year, it's really interesting to kind of look back because, for many of us, unfortunately or fortunately, however you want to look at it, we haven't had a normal job. I mean, personally, I got this up and running, what I'm doing now. And it seems like much longer than a year has gone by. I don't know if you guys feel the same way.
Well, all I know is over the past year, what we've accomplished, I feel like this last year, even though we didn't travel like we usually do, but we were able to accomplish so much remotely, which is amazing. We're able to collaborate with everybody on the phone tonight to make content and create something. And go ahead, Dave. You're up.
No, we got 40 seconds here.
Yep. So, yeah, just the whole idea of what we accomplished and even accomplishing Countdown to Disclosure, the secret technology behind the Space Force, that whole documentary remotely, where we had camera crews remotely directing it from Hawaii. Even Apollo Asteria was able to do an interview with, you had him on the show recently, Christopher Peters.
Yeah, good
when
dude.
We broke
Good
that
dude.
incredible story.
Okay, guys, hold on 1 second here, if you don't mind. Thank you. 5 seconds here, everyone. We pass the halfway point on Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate it. I want to remind you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter @Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram @Spaced Out Radio Show. We're going to get into the 180 days here. What does 180 days mean? Well, in the last previous federal budget in the United States, because UFOs and the UAP task force were created, they had a 180 days to disclose what we know about UFOs. And we got the panel tonight going on from Third Phase of Moon. We have Blake and Brent Cousins. We have Rich Giordano. We have Michael Roser. We have Doc Skinner. We have Paula Asteria. Yes, I got her name right this time. Everyone, 180 days. Rich, let's start with you on this. Let's start with you on this, Rich, about the 180 days. I mean, this could be big, or it could be one giant flop.
Well, I kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, in a way, with the 2 million documents that were dumped by the CIA the other day. Could that be all of it? And if it is, what's in there? Because there's a lot of stuff to go through. I'm not too sure we're going to see anything. I think it's just clickbait title. That's, very easily could be just to get people looking at the article saying, is this disclosure coming in 180 days? A lot of people, people that we know, Dolan and other people, I can't think of anybody right now, but people that we know are saying that this probably isn't disclosure. It's just a way to get this passed, I guess. Didn't the bill already pass, though, the COVID bill?
It did.
All right. See, and I was saying I thought this was to get the bill passed. So I still don't understand what this is for, this 180 days. So what happens within 180 days?
Well, we're supposed to see if we got aliens or not.
But why? Why did they put a time limit on it? I don't understand. I still don't get it, and I read the articles twice. Nobody's saying.
Isn't the FBI supposed to give any analysis of some of these anomalies that they've captured?
But why? If they don't do it in 180 days, then what happens? If they can never disclose stuff again? That's what I want to know. So nobody's telling me. Nobody can give me an answer. So I can't give you one, Dave. All I know is that there's 180 days. I guess the FBI, whatever, is supposed to disclose whatever they know in the government about UAPs. It has nothing to do with the public, really. It's all government stuff.
I agree with you, Rich. I think this 180 days, what are we at now? 150 days? It's counting down.
Yeah.
I think what we're going to have in our documentary coming out is going to explain a lot more than what's going to be produced in 180 days. I'm kind of on the fence with you too, Rich. I'm thinking it's just going to be a big flop, in my opinion.
Yeah, it will be, like always. They always make a promise, then as soon as you get to the door, they lock it on you. I'm very frustrated. I don't know what it means.
Doc Skinner, let's get your take on this. 180 days, big flop, or is this something that we could see a smoking gun?
Well, I have the same question. Why 180 days? Why not now? I mean, it's been so many decades. I mean, what's the difference between now and 180 days, except possibly a new administration? I mean, it's
because they know our documentary's coming out before that.
Well, that's going to be awesome. You're going to have to get and see that. But no, I'm kind of with the guys. I'm on the fence. We have been let down so many times in the past, and that's why I think it falls upon us to try to get out there, because we don't have the agendas. We don't have big corporate sponsorships or big networks or anything like that. We're doing it on our own and finding out for ourselves, because we haven't been able to trust those resources in the past, because we now know that they lied to us about it all, about Project Blue Book and all these things ever since they came out with the Tic Tac video, which, by the way, yes, Third Phase of Moon, we have a lot better stuff over there. The guys have been doing this for years, and they've got an amazing library of stuff that you can see some of the best stuff over on Amazon Prime, actually, with UFO Report. So the fact that they're putting out these little tiny crumbs of evidence, it's kind of insulting to the ones of us who've been doing this for a while. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in 180 days. I mean, if it does, fantastic. Wouldn't that be just eureka? But I feel jaded.
Why do you feel jaded?
Well, because, like I said, that, they've lied to us in the past. They've, dangled the carrot in front of us. And as Rich says, they slam the door right when you get to it. So So I feel we got to work harder at what we do.
You know what's going to happen? This is what I think is going to happen. And we're all of us in this field of ufology, maybe our days are numbered, where we all agree, I think we all agree on the panel, that there's something out there in the military's assets that are things that defy physics, it seems. But it's not actually defying anything except something that is being a meta propulsion craft or vehicle. There's something that some private corporation has designed out there that emulates UFO technology. So once that's revealed to the public, if it ever is, if we're able to see this meta propulsion craft harness power where humans will be able to step into it, travel at 30,000 miles, a second, do these sharp angles without breaking up against the wall or smashing ourselves up against the wall with inertia. There's something going on. We all agree that it seems that it exists. And once they bring it out there, we're all done. There's never going to be a UFO sighting that anybody's interested in. And I'm happy with that. This is what we all need.
Right.
Apollo, let's get your opinion on the 180 days.
So I have two aspects that I want to come at this with. First of all, why now of all times? I mean, there's so much going on in the world right now. It's like new headlines every day of just, I don't even want to get into the politics of everything, but it's like, why now of all times are they deciding to do this? And it almost makes me wonder, I hate to bring the conversation this direction, but what if, Greer talks a lot about a false flag where there'd be like a fake alien invasion happening, and it kind of worries me in a way because I'm almost wondering if that's the direction things are going to go. If you haven't heard of Greer talks about this a lot, about how he thinks that it's very likely that there could be a false flag of a fake alien invasion happening with the this blue beam technology. So, that's one aspect I want to come at it with. That's the first thing that comes to mind to me when I saw this come out. It's like, why now of all times? That's the first thing that comes to mind for me. And then also there's the aspect of, what are they bringing this forward because there's technology that they need to disclose that they can't really disclose this technology or start using this technology or revealing it to the public without basically disclosing that that UFOs are real, or that extraterrestrials are real, and that maybe we have been working with extraterrestrials for a while now. And so that's the other aspect I want to come at this with is a lot of other governments have already released their files to their citizens. And, I believe it was about 10 years ago, the ex-Prime Minister of Defense for Canada came forward and said that the United States has been working with 3 extraterrestrial races since the late 30s, early 40s. And then the Israeli... was it? Here's the space administrator. Mishad, yeah. He came forward and also said that our government has been working with ET races, and that there is a galactic federation, and that basically we're not allowed to be on it yet because of where we're at consciously, I'm assuming, as a collective at this point in time. So, And then also like what I'm thinking with all of this is it seems like all year they've been trying to have disclosure in some way. It's like they keep coming out and putting these headlines out, and then they'll basically backtrack on it. And they've been doing this several times throughout the year. Like, the New York Times articles that came out and then were retracted, and Trump even came close to talking about UFOs and ETs, and then basically retracted his statements in a way. So I don't know. I feel like it's just they really want to disclose this, but they're kind of testing people to see how ready they are with this information, or how ready we are as a collective for full disclosure at this time.
Michael, before I get your opinion on this, I kind of want to share something here. One of the things that I have noticed about this, and one of my concerns is, are we going to get quality data? Are we going to get that Roswell that we don't know about? Are we going to find out what happened at Kecksburg? Are we going to find out information on some of these legendary cases? Because, going through and just telling us about weird lights in the sky, there was a report from Joe Smith down in Kentucky talking about lights in the sky. That doesn't do it for us. We need a little bit more than that, Michael. And I'm wondering if, we know these forums are going to be heavily doxxed, but I believe it's going to be as vanilla as possible. What do you think?
Honestly, you couldn't have said it better. That's my concern, too. When I first heard that, we were doing this 180 days to some sort of disclosure in some respect, I was worried that they were just going to give us a folder in front of us and say, here's what we have, and it'll be enough for us to really chew on, and enough for them to say, okay, you guys can shut up now, leave us alone. And that's what it'll do. But we'll still have that hunger because, as you're mentioning, a lot of these will be doxed and they are redacted. So we're not getting the clear picture of what's going on here. In respect to this whole 180-day things, I think that this is probably a very interesting time that they could have done that. Given what Apollo is saying here, it reflects my opinions as well. I mean, we're looking at General Ashed, divulging things about Mars and bases there. We had Tucker Carlson talking about off-world vehicles. And, we had, as she mentioned, Trump, again, about to spill the beans on Area 51, and he did not. What better time? If this wasn't just a softening of the public, little by little, as we've talked about, because we know they've done it in movies and so forth, maybe this is the next step where we're actually getting some physical things that we can hold in our hand. And, again, maybe there is a bigger plan here to, get us ready for a full disclosure of sort. I still don't think that a full disclosure the way that we would talk about it is going to come from our government. I have to agree with the other members of the panel here and believe that it'll more than likely be an individual revolution. And, how that is actually achieved, time will tell. I mean, there's great power in conviction, but you have to be convicted in the right things, of course. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting to see. I don't necessarily think they're going to give us everything that we want towards the end of these 180 days. And I'm also concerned that what they just gave us, that CIA dump, is maybe all we're going to get. Maybe that was it. Hey, we got it to you within 180 days. You guys now have something, and it's all we have. But who's the one calling the shots behind that scene saying, oh, well, I checked it out, and yes, that's everything in the archives?
See,
so
that's my concern.
Yeah.
Is there's the archives, and then there's the real good woo that we want.
Yeah, exactly, Dave. I find it so hard to believe that this CIA dump is only text, paper work. And, we've been doing this for, 12 years. We've got thousands of videos, a lot of them that still can't be explained. NASA doesn't even know what they're filming. They don't even want to come forward and explain any of these things away in the public evidence. And then the CIA can't even produce one single video or photograph in all these documents. It's just, again, I think this whole buildup, like Apollo and everybody's agreeing here, that I don't know. It seems to me, I think Rich is the only one that disagrees with everybody on the panel, that there might be some kind of disclosure one way or the other, because I think it's destined in our lifetime that we're going to find out everything. We're going to get everything that the humans have wanted to achieve all along. And maybe it might be our undoing. This is what happens to maybe civilizations. They get everything that they want to know. And then once they find out about everything, then it's wiped away. And maybe we're coming to this pinnacle where our destiny in regards to the future, because we're here, the future is now. It's the most extreme of technology. It's just about to go to another level. And now, who knows? We're going to see everything. I think we're going to see the meteorites, asteroids. We're going to see extraterrestrials. We're going to see intervention. We're going to see longevity through medicine. We're going to live forever if that's what you want to choose. All these things are at the cusp. But if we blow it, we're not going to get it. But something's going down. You could just feel it.
I've been hearing this for 17 years, though. Nothing is getting us closer. We're not any closer.
I don't know. Things are changing, Rich. Look at how the government's talking about this, all this stuff. At least the politicians are getting involved more than they ever have, and it's more mainstream than
Social
ever.
media, that's the only reason. Clicks and views, and vote for me. I'm sorry, I can't help it. It's just what it is. It's all political. The whole thing is.
Now, when it comes down to science, we're looking at 17 years, like you said. Now we're looking at a whole new frontier of science, and again, what the capabilities are there from nanotechnology and all these extra aspects of that could be disclosed in the near future.
So what? That doesn't mean aliens gave it to us.
Oh, it could be reverse engineered, possibly. You never know.
Possibly, allegedly, supposedly, a lot of leads.
You know, one thing I don't care about, in my opinion, Third Phase of the Moon's about this technology. I want this technology to be open to the public, whether it's from aliens, from another galaxy or solar system. I really don't care. What I want is the technology to travel in these craft. I want to go and traverse this, solar system in a super way that seems plausible. Apparently, according to these Tic Tacs, the Navy, this is what I want. And that's what we need to expose. There's energy out there that we're not getting.
We want the same thing. I want what you want. Yeah, and that's why I like teaming up with you. We do have like minds. We don't agree with everything, but we want the same goal. We have the same goal. And even if I only believe 1%, that 1% pushes me as hard as I do to talk about what's real and what isn't, and what we should believe in and what we shouldn't. The political side, the non-political, the public's going to disclose it. We all know that. That's where it's
at. And that's why we brought that's crazy, because I remember when we first reached out to Rich at Goof On, and I think he's called Goof On Radio at that time. Dave Scott was on that show.
Yeah.
And Dave and you guys were talking, you guys were talking a little schmack about Third Phase Moon. Or at least I know Rich
We were talking about a video, and I said, this isn't real.
Get it on. What was great, though, is that we got in, and that's what kind of started a little bit of this little dynamic that's going on now. And, the social media is not all bad. The social media is there to actually have a connection. And I think Third Phase Moon utilized that perfectly with the public to get that information that the social media wants to share on a platform, and then bring everybody involved that's on the show tonight. And we've all dealt with everybody personally as best as we can remotely from Hawaii. But there is there's a friendship, there's a bond happening, and it's a cool collective.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to say something real quick here that Blake had mentioned a little bit earlier, that perhaps in some way of disclosure, when that happens, ufology as we know it may be done. We might not have anything to do. I don't necessarily think that's going to be the case, because number one, these documents, they're talking about UFOs. And, if they're specifically saying that it's of extraterrestrial origin, or, there's aliens involved, that's one thing. But they're giving us a glimpse of the technology without any real explanation of perhaps where it's coming from. And if we do disclose, again, the search will never really end, because, okay, we have this technology, but what about the alien presence? Oh, we didn't give you anything on that. So that's what we'll have to do next.
But Michael, but this is the whole thing too. It's like, do we really need to know if it's alien technology? Let's just give me the technology. I'll be happy with that.
Right.
Sure. Some people would be happy with that. Yeah.
Well, that's probably the reason for the secrecy. Like, why do we need to have disclosure? Why are these secrets in the first place? Like, and I think that's what you guys are saying with the technology. Obviously, I think there's this conspiracy where this technology, they don't want it released, because obviously we have this technology, and we've been working with these different races. Our governments have been, and I think it's kind of more of a conspiratorial thing where they don't want, maybe some people out there don't want us all to have these free energy technologies, because that would mean that we wouldn't need to be working for a system, because we would all be in a free energy society, and that would be a much different world for everyone.
it's not cost effective for them. They're not making money if they're not in control of stuff. They give free energy away. I was working with a company years ago called Space Island Group, where we were working with wireless electricity, and that technology we were restricted by certain governments, and now we're finding out Space Force is going to, roll it out and say, look what we've got. So, it's all about controlling the technology and keeping it to themselves as long as possible until they realize they can make more money, in the public eye, to where it's not something so magical it freaked them out. They're like, oh, that makes sense. Okay, I see how that floating skateboard works. But it's about control. It's about money and using it for defense purposes in some cases.
Well, that's a big thing. Is we only got about 2 minutes to go before we have to go to break here at the top of the hour. I want to get into the idea between confirmation and disclosure. We'll talk more about this in the next half hour. But here's what I'm hearing from a number of my sources, that they don't care to disclose. The governments of the world, namely the United States, don't care to disclose right now because the great debate is, can humanity handle this subject? We can, because we're in this every day. But we also have to remember there's billions of people on this planet, whether for personal or religious reasons or financial reasons, turn their back towards this subject. We know the mainstream media has. So as we go into break and kind of go into the next half hour here, I'm curious, are we on a path for confirmation or on a path for disclosure? Because that's the big drawing line. And the word I'm hearing is it's about confirmation, because those who are 35 years old and up, the majority of them cannot handle it, would not be able to handle it. If all
I
of a
don't
sudden,
think so. I don't think so, Dave. I think they would. There's not a problem with the technology because everybody would embrace it. Everybody wants to go visit their family. On the opposite side of the planet. Everybody wants to go travel. It's all about just travel. Who cares of where it came from? We all know we're not alone. I think we could pretty much all agree that there's something out there, whether they're here or not. Maybe they were here millions of years ago and they're inhabiting somewhere underneath the oceans, and they've been hiding out all this time. They're not extraterrestrials. I don't care about any of that stuff. I just want the technology. I want to see something that defies anything that physics knows, or some kind of meta propulsion device that we could all hop into and have a good time, like the Jetsons. We all deserve it. I want my goddamn Millennium Falcon. That's all.
Exactly. Everyone, I'm going to get you to hold on right there because we are going to go to break here at the top of the hour. We have an amazing UFO panel tonight. Brent Blake from Third Phase of Moon, Rich Giordano. We got Michael Roser from Dark Hour Paranormal. We have Doc Skinner and Astoria. I make that Apollo Astoria. Damn it, I'm out. Asteria. There it is. It's that simple. Asteria. Goddamn Asteria.
It's okay. Everyone always does that for some reason. Everyone always says it like that. You're not the first one.
Screw my life. Screw my life. Right there. Okay, you guys chat away. Remember, YouTube can hear you. Because I have a studio at home, I'm just going to run my dogs outside. I'll be right back.
Outside?
Jeez. Well, hey, guys, I got a report. Hey, while we're up, I got some emails from a lady that I'm going to tell everybody now.
But we
that
are
I got some. Okay,
live, right?
Yeah, I know. Everybody's live. I'm not going to give any sensitive information, but I can tell you, I received some paperwork that looks to be like from the 50s or 60s. Like the paper's very brittle, delicate, like almost dust-worthy. But anyway, I got these photographs of the documents, and what I got was just kind of interesting. It's involving the what base, Brent? The military base?
29 Palms.
The biggest military marine base.
In the world.
So
wow.
these documents, what we're seeing here, may reveal. I don't know. The lady, when she sent me these photographs of the documents, is really blurry, and like you gotta, you know how everybody is, the public, they don't know how to shoot anything. So I had to tell this lady, we need these pictures of these documents better. She actually emailed it to me just moments before we went live.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be sharing these documents with the team tomorrow, and some of the implications behind it, because it really connects a lot of dots, in my opinion. Literally connects a lot of dots.
Wow.
Dot.
And,
You know, we love dot videos.
Love dot.
Where is this military base? You said 29 Palms. Where is that?
yeah, San Bernardino, 29 Palms.
Okay, I thought. Okay.
So I
So
talked
it's
to my
sinking.
dad about it. I talked to my dad because he's a Marine in Vietnam. He actually volunteered. What an
Wow.
idiot! He didn't even get drafted. You want
Wow.
to see?
Jeez.
Yeah. Crazy guy. Love that guy. But anyway, he was saying, I was like, Dad, have you ever heard of 29 Palms? And he says he avoided it by coming up with this story that he wanted to get out of it. He didn't want to train there. Our dad was pretty smart. He actually gained some rank just by saying some things. But anyway, he was aware of the base. But what we have on some of these maps, again, connect the dots, and there's some statements in here that really is going to be, you'll see tomorrow. But I just want to give everybody a heads up that on the team, we're going to be sharing some of this stuff.
That's
Wow.
super exciting.
Apparently, we have granted these documents were found in a trailer on an Indian reservation. I don't know if somebody passed away at that Indian reservation and how they were able to get this paperwork, but the Indian from the Indian reservation has given us full, whatever, go with it.
That was just 2 hours.
That was just 2 hours ago too, and we got the high-res images now from a lady named Brenda, and I'm going to be talking to Brenda tomorrow morning and just like break down exactly how these documents were found and this paperwork. This is kind of that stuff that I was talking about, that one of these days, the public's out there, how many, we're almost up to 300 million views just on Third Phase, that somebody's got that stuff in the closet and stuff or whatever. This could be it. This is kind of like, I don't want to say it online exactly what we got, but it's crazy. It's pretty neat. It's historical, it looks to me. Very historical. And I don't know. Is it top secret?
It doesn't have a stamp top.
It doesn't have top secret on it, but it might reveal like sensitive stuff.
Or connect some dots.
The
The
dots.
dots are. Yeah,
But if you could confirm the dots.
the dots look like it's on a map, and when the dots connect to this particular areas around the country, that's what's the most interesting part. And it looks like connections to things that we've talked about at Third Phase Moon, and not just us, everybody else. They know what's going to be seen if the dots match.
It seems like the dots are matching. And that's just one of the documents. So we might have to do a special report tomorrow on Third Phase of Moon with the gang.
Oh well, so much
I
for the
think
week.
so.
I'm down. Count me in.
Yeah,
Good
no,
there.
believe me.
I was gonna go skinny skiing, but oh well.
I thought you were gonna say skinny dipping, Doc.
Oh,
It sounded like you were saying I was gonna go skinny dipping. I was like,
Hey,
whoa, okay.
don't judge me. All right. Hey, and
I mean,
Blake.
either way, it's
if
exhilarating.
Anybody knew, Blake? If anybody could pull off a Hawaiian Dr. Evil, it was you just a little while ago. I don't care. I just want all the technology. I want it all. I want it all.
Why it's
From your volcano island.
I just want the goddamn Millennium Falcon.
Right. The Baltic Sea. UFO.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
I
that's
want,
all
like
it
all the
was.
secret space program people always say that the flying saucers, that they're like pets because they like interconnect with your mind. So like if you think like go left, it'll like go left. I'm like, man, that would be so awesome if you just like you walked up to your ship, it just like jumped up and opened its door for you, and like you get in,
Paula,
and you're just like,
I
Paula,
got
have you
a,
tried
I
the
got
Oculus Quest yet? Go ahead.
I got a 13-year-old girl in my town here who claims to have flown a ship.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
geez.
Why
And-
not?
Call me, tickle me fancy.
100%. Telepathically,
Oh, yeah.
meta, propulsion
Hold on here, guys. 5
Yeah.
seconds. Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for tuning us on in. We welcome back everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around the continent and digitally on Revolution Radio, KPNL, and TalkStream Live. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club, Paleopodology. Paleopodology is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. For the final time tonight, we got a great panel going on talking UFOs all night long, and we're going to get into confirmation versus disclosure. From Third Phase of Moon, we have Blake and Brent Cousins. We have Rich Giordano from GoofOdd. We have Doc Skinner. We have Michael Rosen and Paula Asteria here on the show, and I got her last name right now. I so apologize to you for that,
Michael
Paula.
Roser.
It's
Roser.
quite all right.
That's all right.
Roser.
I can't even read my own writing tonight.
It's not
Right.
Rosen.
My goodness. Well,
Thanks for.
I just call him Dark Hour. Can I just call him Dark Hour Paranormal?
DHP.
Yeah.
I don't mind. That's fine.
All right. Mike, let's start with you on this while you're here. You know, confirmation or disclosure? What do you think we're in?
I think we're really in a stage of sorry. I think we're really in a stage of confirmation right now. Again, maybe building up to some sort of disclosure in the future. If they are doing this, it's going to be a slow trickle as it's been, with maybe a ramping up at some point. But I still don't see them just walking up to us and giving us everything. Confirmation does resonate a little bit more with me in the way of what I think I'm seeing here. But I'm not going to put the idea of a full disclosure in one way, shape, or form off on the side of the table. It's still there. It's still a possibility. And I think we're seeing a process that will, again, bring us up into more knowledge and information about this sort of field. And, again, I don't know where the extraterrestrial aspect will eventually fit in. But I think that we're going to be much more savvy in the way of understanding what technology we have. Because I think, as you guys have said, people will embrace it to a certain degree. I think that, look at all the technological innovations that we've come up over the last 100 years with such a rapid pace to it, and yet people still got on board. 30 years ago, nobody had home computers and cell phones weren't a thing. Guess what? We adapted pretty quickly, didn't we? Maybe that's going to be the same case when it comes to the technology that they will indulge us in, hopefully. And of course, they're not going to give us everything because they will keep things for themselves. They've been doing it for so long. Why would they stop doing it now?
Doc Skinner, let's get your opinion on this. I mean, you've been doing this a long time. I'm curious your thoughts.
Well, man, confirmation, I feel like we've already gotten that. Disclosure, it's been trickled out, like Mike was saying. I'm hoping it will be in our lifetime. And it would be cool if it was in this 180 days. That would be awesome. But I think even if we do get it, because of this disease of cognitive dissonance we see around the world, I think even if someone sees it, they're going to explain it away in some cases. But the rest of us, we're going to be jumping for joy, of course. But yeah, I hope in my lifetime we'll have confirmation with disclosure and a nice little visit.
Have you ever had aliens before?
Have I ever had aliens?
Yeah, you got aliens like the rest of us here outside of Giordano?
I mean, in my
that.
Yeah, I've got a 3-foot alien and a 6-foot alien animatronic that hang out in the back of my show all the time. So they're fun. But yeah, I've had my experiences like everybody on the team, which led us to things like always.
Yeah, Doc Skinner saw the infamous TR3B with his boy over there. Straight up.
Guys from the morning radio show, one of them who was a complete skeptic. Everybody was full of it. There was no Bigfoot. There's no UFOs. There's nothing. And we were getting out of our car, or his car. I was in the back seat. There was 3 of us. We got out in this parking lot. I remember it was 7 o'clock on a Thursday night because they were with the radio station. We were doing a radio promo at this bar. And I was looking out for the red blood moon that night. Couldn't find the moon at all. But right across the street, and I'm up in Pine Top, Lakeside, Arizona. We're about 8,000 feet up. So it's not the Arizona people think of. And we have beautiful tall pine trees, which I looked up and I saw these 3 pulsing red lights. First thought, towers, okay? But I'm thinking, I work at this bar for a couple years now, and there's never been towers there before. And that was all within a split second. And then it was moving, but it was moving so slow that it looked like it was on water, on the top of the water, like a boat. And it was silent. And it literally, when it went over the red glow of the triangle, lit up the tops of the trees. And I told my friends, like, get out, check it out, check it out. He's like, those are towers. Oh my God, they're moving. I was like, I told you. So that was my first MUFON report that night. And the fact there was 3 of us that saw it. And then another tribal member was coming up from the south, from some tribal land. And I put a call on Facebook. Did anybody see anything in the sky at this time tonight? And she was like, you mean the red pulsing triangle? And I said, yes. And she said, yeah, we saw it being escorted by 2 jets. And so we pulled over to watch it. So I didn't see jets when we saw it. It was by itself and it was silent. But
so what do you think?
I knew immediately.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask the panel. And I'll ask even Dave Scott. Do you think we're going to see, like, obviously you love sports, and sports is kind of, I don't know, whatever is going on. I don't watch much sports. I don't find it too exhilarating as it was back in the day. But do you expect, like, a Super Bowl event that we're going to see some kind of aircraft that we haven't seen before? They love parading the technology over Super Bowls. When's the TR-3B going to fly over it?
That would be really awesome if they did that.
Oh, I would say it would be awesome because it would probably.
We're already almost there technologically, like, with the rollout of, what has been released. I feel like it's honestly like any day now, really.
Well, I'm thinking it's probably because of the whole Space Force that so many people have seen it. It's going to be a way to explain it away, saying, well, that's just, Space Force. It's one of our new spy planes. And they may have one that might have certain regular kind of engines on it to show to the world, but they probably won't show the one with toroidal energy that allows it to levitate.
So then we're not seeing it.
It's going to look something entirely different than what's in the skies over the Super Bowl now. What we're seeing is like 40-year-old technology. Right. So when are they going to show the new technology? They're going to have to play their cards one day.
Right. Well,
I think they're brazen enough with what they have in our skies already that it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibilities that they might do something to serve the ego in that way. Even in some of the videos that I've seen, I've always believed that if these crafts are from us, then, we're seeing ancient technology right in front of us, and yet we just don't know anything about it. The military must have years beyond that technology that we're witnessing. So it's possible that they could do something like that. I think in the end, it's going to really be up to the human ego and how they end up divulging some of this technology to us.
They would.
Yeah, it's all about the ego.
Yeah, they would slowly show us, though. Like, they would announce it before anything, I think, to get people ready for it. We've got this new type of
bomber. How did they announce it? They just showed it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, they said they were going to do a flyover, I think, of the Super Bowl that year and the new craft that they have. That's what they did that year when they showcased them.
Or what if they're just waiting to do this, like Paula said, Project Bluebeam for this fake alien invasion, and then boom, bring in, the super. What was that old cartoon? It doesn't matter. These
What about the jetpack guy, like mimicking the return of Christ?
Or yeah, even if they do that, if they go the religious route, which they say they might, by taking in different locations around the world, depending on their culture's God, being able to project that, Allah, whoever, in the clouds, and speaking in that language to them with technology that we have right now, that Dr. Stephen Baggett in Alaska has. Baggett, did I say it wrong? I'm so sorry. Where you can put probes on your neck, and the sound you hear in the middle of your skull, it bypasses your eardrums. And I even messaged him and said, why don't you use this technology for people that are deaf, because you're bypassing the eardrum straight to the brain. And he says they're actually working on stuff like that. So that stuff like that technology is going to, it's going to slowly come out. Anyway, sorry, I'm hijacking. Next.
It's not slowly. It's coming out fast, Doc, not slow.
Feels
so
to me.
What always stuck out to me was, I think it was in a interview with Bob Lazar. I may be wrong about that. It was either Bob Lazar or someone that worked with him. They asked him if this kind of technology would be released, like the Star Trekian, like spaceship kind of technology. And he said, you know what, we've already been there, done that, decided it wasn't worth it. And to me, that just makes me think, okay, so is this an interdimensional technology that they're talking about now? Like, did they, already work with these kind of technologies with, anti-gravity devices and things like that, and then they realized, a different kind of technology that was more of a metaphysical technology where they could just go interdimensional instantly and didn't need to actually have a physical ship. So I think that's a really interesting aspect of looking at these things too.
They don't want the public to get this technology because somebody's always got nefarious ideas. So if they could back engineer this technology from the aliens, they could create a weapon. And I don't think that we need to have this in our hands as the public. So if they go public with it and make these devices that are alien technology, we wouldn't understand it, and somebody could kill themselves trying to back engineer it. I think it's dangerous.
There'd probably be fail-safe capabilities rendered into this technology, because it needs to. Yeah, you could get a beer can, and then you could use it to whip across the country and nail anybody in the head with it going 30,000 miles an hour.
I was thinking more of the bank robber thing, just teleport into the bank. Like in that movie.
There'd be algorithms allocated in the Matrix to see if any of these craft were moving at such a high rate, and it'd just be disabled. They'd have to have that kind of. If the technology is that good, they have the technology to shut it down. Just like the technology with the deep fakes and the deep fake voices, they're also creating the technology to understand exactly, to ascertain if it's fake or not. So these people behind the deep fake technology and the deep fake voices, they're putting in the security systems to make sure that it's not abused. And it's a smart way. They have to do it. It's a backup system.
Yeah, we even bring it up in the documentary, Countdown to Disclosure. We have Elon Musk giving a little short interview from Michio Kaku, amongst others. It's pretty cool. Dr. J actually got us that little piece for the documentary. It was awesome. And we go down the road of AI and the technology behind it and what's going to happen with it. That's a big question. We're going to see it in our lifetime. Are we going to see aspects where it's going to control our lives? Are we going to be suspended as their own personal compartment?
And the quantum computers that are being utilized, like China's like totally investing in quantum computing, and they're going to surpass America's technology in quantum computing. And where does that all go? That's all being discussed in our documentary, but it is interesting on how it seems that America is falling behind on the quantum computing technology. We're losing it on this.
I mean, China's even, created their own sun. I don't know how they contain it, but
Right.
yeah, they're doing some wild stuff.
And the moon.
Right.
Yeah, they're putting up fake moons as a way of streetlights, to replace the streetlights.
And when you talk about the red planet, I do believe they probably do think they're destined for Mars as the control.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Absolutely.
a space race right now, and it's happening in our lifetime. I like that.
Yeah.
Competition is good.
Especially with all the mining, with the comet or the meteorite mining that they're planning, or some say are already doing.
It's because those
I
meteorites
think
need
they're already
freedom.
doing it. I think it was Brooks Agnew.
Yep.
He's been saying on his show that they can mine something off the moon that would power free energy devices.
Right. He's got a book coming out. Yeah.
What was it that he said that we can mine off the moon? I think he was saying that Elon Musk. That's what he's trying to get there to do.
Yeah.
Do you remember what it is that he was talking about mining?
Yeah, he was talking about going and getting little, meteorites or little small planets, little moons, and going there, grabbing the supplies, and coming back. Kind of like what they did with that spacecraft recently, where they went and it bounced on that small little potato. It's not an asteroid. It's a meteor. Is it a meteor or is it a little planet or moon?
It's an asteroid.
An asteroid. Thank you. God, I feel stupid. But yeah, it lands on there, and when it lands, it bounces, and it digs a hole real quick, grabs a scoop, and then bounces off and takes off. And that just happened. What was that Rich? Was that about a month ago or 2 months ago?
Oh, you're talking about the one a month ago. Yeah, we had another landing a year and a half ago on the potato one.
I'm sorry. I remember the potato. I just misplaced. But yes, there was one a month ago, and it had some talk about it on the internet. But yeah.
Are they bringing anything back? Did they bring anything back from it?
Yeah.
It dug a hole and scooped all in one motion and grabbed a sample, which it's bringing back.
Man, that's where the money's at. Those people that are doing that, they're going to make some money.
Right, because all they need is one asteroid that has, a certain mineral that maybe we don't have, but we know will make computers even faster or something to that effect. And big corporations, I think
They already found it, Doc. Did you hear about those nodes on the bottom of the Pacific Ocean?
No. Please tell me more.
Yeah, this is crazy. Apparently, it's a dream come true for computer manufacturers because they're kind of running out of the material that make these batteries charge our computers and our cell phones. Like, we're running out of this material, and it's really expensive. But they found these nodes, and these nodes are at the depth of maybe 5 miles under the Pacific Ocean. So they're developing these submarines ready to harvest these nodes, and they resemble like maybe the size of clams or the size of your hand, and they're just perfectly dispersed along the surface of the water, about the surface of the bottom of the ocean, about 4 or 5 miles, and they're creating these submarines that go down there and pick them up and then put them in a bag and bring them up. And they say it's a miracle for the battery power for everything. But unfortunately, again, all these corporations and all these countries are laying claim, like the gold miners back in the day, claiming gold. Well, now they're claiming these sections of the Pacific Ocean. And tell you what, America has not taken any of they're really falling behind. And these nodes, the real estate of the seabed, 4 miles, is going to be an extreme gold mine. You got to look it up. It's crazy.
Can our submarines even go down that far? Like our modern, like the submarines that we are using right now, can they even go down that deep? I know the pressure at that.
That's basically the biggest gold mine rush of the next century. What's going to happen there? It's probably like $20 to $100 trillion laying down at the bottom of the ocean, ready to pick up. But it creates that high technology of robots to go down there.
Right.
Because that pressure,
these submersibles are too minute. It's got to be industrialized to almost pick it up.
Yeah.
And it's another environmental problem, but they don't want to create an environmental. They want to be very gentle on how they pick these things up off the surface. They don't want to like drill things into the ground. But the real estate guys are picking it up. It's not America. It's Russia and China.
And what the scientists say, and everybody's involved with this, is that it's perfect timing. Like, we needed this material to keep our computers going and our batteries running, and they found it at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. It's crazy. It's happening.
You know, people talk about exploring outer space, but we haven't even explored, like, what is it, like 80% of our oceans have been completely untouched. I think I read that somewhere one time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really interesting to think about. It's like there's probably so much out there, like, still here on Earth that we haven't even discovered.
Yeah. And then I think it was NASA mentioned a while back that they had discovered a planet, because they've been discovering them left and right recently, that there was one that had chemical compounds on this planet that whenever it had storms, it wasn't water that would fall, it would be diamonds.
Diamonds, yeah.
Right.
I saw that too, yeah.
You know, right there, somebody with a lot of Dr. Evil money, boom, there's a good investment right there. You know, so yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's going on that, you know, most people aren't aware of, like this. That's big.
Will diamonds give me a Millennium Falcon?
Well, I'm sorry?
Will diamonds make a Millennium Falcon?
Isn't that some other kind of special?
Well, you gotta make a Millennium Falcon to go get the diamonds, so it's like,
yeah. So you need
kind
to
of like a what came
dilithium.
first, the chicken or the egg kind of thing.
Yeah. You gotta find a dilithium crystal first. What?
We've got 90 seconds to go here before we have to say goodnight to this incredible panel on Spaced Out Radio. And before we let you go, quick question for you. In the next 180 days, with what we see in ufology, are we going to see more videos, more evidence leak out, not only from a government point, but a personal standpoint as well, or is it going to stay status quo? Let's start with you, Blake.
Well, as I was saying tonight, we're going to have some footage that's going to be coming out tomorrow. So there's going to be leaked footage. There's going to be leaked documents. There's going to be information that's going to be out before the 180 days of disclosure. Obviously, our documentary is coming out February 16th, 2021. And again, we were the ones that named our documentary Countdown to Disclosure. And then the major media picked up on it and called it the 180-day countdown to UFO disclosure. Is that a coincidence? No. They are following. They know exactly what's going on. The public is aware that there's something in our skies. There's technology that's not being revealed, and Third Phase Moon is sharing it because the public's sharing their information to us. And we got some incredible documents coming out of 29 Palms military base, the Marine base tomorrow. Documents that have not been seen until you'll see it tomorrow. But yeah, stay tuned. Third Phase of Moon's always breaking the new news, and I appreciate all the panel that's joined us, the friendships that's been made over the past year through all this. Apollo Asteria and Apollo's Odysseys. Appreciate the correspondence and all the work she's done.
Thanks, guys.
Dave,
gotta go.
Gotta go.
Commercial break. The news is next on Spaced Out Radio.
Buddy, Rich,
good job, guys.
Yeah, it was good to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Give you a few claps.
I love the.
Can we do this more often?
Yeah, this was a
It's
lot of
really
fun.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
I know a place.
This crowd's good.
I know a place.
It's a good time. It's a good crowd. Good crowd.
We did it like
It's
the
a good
whole
crowd.
3 hours. Jesus
Good
Christ.
people.
We know a good crowd when we see them.
Oh yeah, look at the applause in the chat room.
Any gabagool? You got gabagool?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No gabagool? All right.
Well, Dave, thank you so much, man. It
Hey,
was
no
good.
problem. Thank you, guys. Great show
Thanks,
tonight,
Dave. Good to be
and I apologize on the butchering of last names. And Rich, could you give us an agoosh before you leave?
All right, you guys want an agoosh all over Spaced Out family. How do you like that, kids?
You dirty bastard. I love you.
You dirty
Blake
mother.
and Brent, let's give you a few claps. I thought you were only staying an hour, but you went the distance. We'll give you a few
Yes,
claps
sir.
as
Yeah,
well.
really. I'm clapping
did
with
it.
my feet. I don't know what that means.
No, it was a good show.
Great
Michael,
show.
Dark Hour Paranormal.
That was a lot of fun.
Everybody's bouncing off each other in a way that seems like it's just real people talking. There's no animosity. There's no egos. Everybody's just like seems like we
We're
all
a
kind of
family.
agree on a lot of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Couldn't agree more with that.
And I'm going to say quickly before I let all of you guys go, because I got to get ready for the news here. But I know we had a lot of new faces in our chat room tonight, and thank you to you guys for all of you for promoting this, and hopefully we've done enough to earn the people hitting the subscribe button that are new to this channel. So thank you guys for bringing that attention to the show. And if anybody on this panel wants to use a piece of this show for your own shows, please feel free to do so.
I was anyway.
Oh, thank you,
Thanks,
Third
Dave.
Phase of Moon, Paul Etheria, Dave Scott, Rich,
Yeah.
and Dr. Spencer. You guys were awesome. Thank you all for having me and bringing me along on this ride.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Michael's
Your hair is
been-
fantastic.
Michael's been a new team member and met much respect. Good commentary. Good one.
Dude,
Well
Michael-
spoken every time.
All right, guys, I got to hang up here because I got to get ready for the news. But
No, I gotta hang up.
yeah, you hang up there, G.
See you later. Thanks, man.
Bye, guys.
You take
Take
over,
care.
Dave.
Take care.
Appreciate it.
Good night,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Good to be here.
I'll see you guys.
Night.
Abadee.
That's all, folks. You know, I hit the hang up button. There we go. There we go. Now we got everybody. Everybody. That was damn good. That was damn good. Seriously. I thought that was fantastic. I really did. Yeah, we rocked a good show tonight. Thank you to everyone. Seriously. That was good stuff. Even Gil liked it. And Gil doesn't like anything. Hey, Mikey, he likes it. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. And thank you once again to the Cousins brothers for organizing this. And, yeah, I needed a show like this. I've had a hell of a day. And, to come in and rock a show like this was a lot of fun. And I hope you all enjoyed it too. We've got just over a minute here before we're going to go to the news. Excuse me. And thank you to Major Lee, Chris Reap, Chu, and Reverend Keith for the amazing super chats tonight. Thank you to everyone who has given us a thumbs up and thumbs down. And to all of our new subscribers, remember, you can get really cool hoodies like this of Spaced Out Radio and T-shirts by going to facebook.com/the SOR Vault. That's where we have our store. And, yes, you want to make sure you get some nice, cool swag. And you remember, every time you buy a T-shirt, you get a free piece of coaxial cable, courtesy and autographed by Cable Guy Matt. You can't buy these in stores, people. And I've got some other gifts for you, too. So when you buy a shirt, you're getting a lot more than just a shirt, which is really cool. Who offers that? Not many people. That's all I'm saying. You don't have to believe me. You just got to purchase. Here we go. We rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. My name is Dave Scott, sitting in SOR headquarters in the frozen Canadian tundra. I want to say thank you to everyone tuning us on in tonight and remind all of you that if you've missed most of this show or others, you can check out our free archives by going to youtube.com spaced out radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button, our website, spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. And you know what? It's that time of the night once again as we get to the news. There it is. Here we go. We've done our stretching. We're warmed up. Shirky Poo's got us ready. The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire at the back end of every show, where we'll get to the weird, the strange, the wacky, and sometimes the enormous. How about an enormous asteroid? It's funny, this story. This is funny. Okay, we're going to talk about this asteroid, but this is how the line reads in Newsweek. An enormous steroid, bigger than the entire Empire State Building. So we'll read it properly here. An enormous asteroid, bigger than the Empire State Building, is set to fly safely past Earth in the final days of the Trump presidency. The space rock, otherwise known as 65717, bracket 1993 BX3, close bracket, is scheduled to make its closest approach to Earth at 3:49 a.m. Eastern Time, 12:49 a.m. Pacific on January 17th. Wow, that's my daughter's birthday. 3 days before the President-elect Joe Biden is supposed to be inaugurated, according to NASA. At this moment, the asteroid will come within 4.4 million miles of our planet, which is equivalent of roughly 18 times the average distance between the Earth and the Moon. Based on its observable magnitude, the space rock, which was first spotted in 1992, is estimated to measure up to about 1,345 feet in diameter. If the estimate is correct, the asteroid would be slightly larger than the Empire State Building in New York, which stands at 1,250 feet. Now, the space rock will be traveling at more than 8,000 miles per hour, gets good gas mileage, about 4 times faster than a rifle bullet. The 1993 BX3 is classified as a near-Earth object, or NEO. The term refers to asteroids and comets in orbit around the sun that can pass within 30 million miles of Earth's own orbit. There are currently 25,000 known NEOs, none of which have significant risks striking Earth in the next century or so, according to NASA. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. Good Canadian kid, using the old noodle up there, especially in the frozen tundra. An Ottawa man is turning heads on frozen stretches of the Ottawa River with a homemade device he jokingly refers to as his jetpack. In reality, Bryden Gibson's gas-powered, propeller-driven invention is more Rona than NASA. He says, I got my hands on some weed whacker motors, and I figured strapping one on my back and making skating a little bit lazier would be a good idea, says the 24-year-old. I was actually getting scared at one point because I was going a little too fast. What did you do? He bolted a 38-centimeter propeller to a wooden frame, fashioned the throttle out of a brake handle, and cable salvaged from a 10-speed bike. Then he padded straps cut from a dollar store backpack. He laced up his skates, and suddenly Gibson was zipping along at speeds reaching up to 40 kilometers an hour. Yes, I was actually getting a little scared at one point, because it was fast, he said. There are no brakes, but there is a kill switch to cut the power when something goes wrong. I was actually a little finicky. This isn't the first iteration of Gibson's invention. As a teen, he built an electric propulsion device in his parents' basement, though it never got to the testing. Ever since I was a kid, I've been taking things apart I found on the other side of the road and making a mess of my parents' basement, spreading electronics everywhere. Gibson has built remote-controlled airplanes and boats, and once even attempted a homemade hovercraft. It's kind of gotten me into some rough scenarios. I almost lost a finger in the past, but I've never had anything serious happen yet. Well, good for him, because, the way the NHL's going, probably going to need this. Now, Here's an interesting one. The United States Air Force is testing bombs that it could drop, and they'll have voices on them. What this is for, I don't really know. But the U.S. Air Force took a tiny but important step towards a future where weapons will be able to work together to take advantage of the latest intelligence on the battlefield. The recent test of 2 collaborative small-diameter bombs is a validation of the Golden Horde concept, which uses the sensors of weapons streaking towards their targets to evaluate the battlefield and turn their attention to bigger and more important targets on the ground. Modern warfare has come a long way since the days of World War II's massive bombing raids over occupied Europe. A single F-35 strike fighter can now do much more damage by placing guided bombs precisely on target than dozens of B-17 flying fortresses as they did in World War II. One problem that's persisted is the interval between when targets are selected by mission planners and the bombs actually striking their targets. Improved communications and intelligence gathering have shrunk the interval considerably, as has a pilot's ability to change targets. Still, once a pilot releases a bomb, there isn't usually an option for swapping targets based on weapon sharp-eyed sensors, which are collecting data right up until the moment the weapon smashes into the target. So what do? They now have the ability to have these weapons talk because, you know what? We just need to spend more on weapons. Let's get to something a little bit more wholesome. An Iowa family is ushering in the winter in a massive way. Why? Well, the Peters family decided to scrape up all the snow in their yard, and they built a 15-foot tall snowman. Yes, this thing's almost taller than the house. Karen Peters told the media that the idea for the snowy statue initially came from her son, who later enlisted the help of friends. Together, the group worked piece by piece, relying on an 8-foot ladder until they had a 15-foot tall snowman standing in front of them, complete with a pair of eyes, mouth, carrot nose, red scarf, and buttons. If my son sets his mind to do something, any of the kids, they achieve it, Peters said. There wasn't a doubt in my mind that he wouldn't finish it. Of course, the building process didn't come without any challenges. We had to work with the weather, Peters explained. Some days it was too cold. Sometimes the snow wouldn't stick. They got out there on any day the weather would cooperate, and they just kept adding to it. As it turns out, this wasn't the first massive snowman the Peters son has built. Last year, the Iowa State University student sculpted an 11-foot snowman in Ames, where the college is located. That's just way too cold. Weird one in New York City. Did you see this? Where the fire department tweeted an image of an articulated bus dangling from an overpass in the Bronx district. The rear section was still on the overpass, while the nose of the front section was on the access road below. The bus driver was among those injured, officials said, and is reported to be in serious condition. Cause of the accident isn't clear, but the bus fell approximately 50 feet onto the access road. The patient suffered injuries consistent with a fall from such a great height. New York City Councilor Mark Levine tweeted the emergency services had closed off the entire area after this horrible accident. I mean, this is straight out of the movie, what's that Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock movie, where the bus can't go more than under 55 miles an hour. This is what it looks like. One of these weird types of things. The good news is there is nobody dead. A desert gecko from Namibia has brilliant glow-in-the-dark markings that shine neon green by the light of the moon. The mechanism that produces the glow has never been seen before in land animals with backbones. So web-footed geckos have translucent skin with large yellowish markings, stripes on their sides, and rings around their eyes. But those markings light up brightly when they absorb the moon's bluer light. Fluorescence is what they're thinking it is when the light is absorbed and emitted at a longer wavelength, have been found in other reptiles and amphibians as well, produced by their bones or by chemical secretions in their skin. However, web-footed geckos generate their light using skin pigment cells that are filled with guanine crystals. These cells, called iridophores, have recently or previously been linked to color display in geckos and lizards, but this is the first evidence that they also enable geckos to glow in the dark. Web-footed geckos, which live in dry riverbeds and dunes in the Namib Desert, measure about 4 to 6 inches in length. The geckos use their large web feet to burrow through fine sand, and they are mostly active at night. In 2018, the study authors had found that chameleons have bones that glow through their skin. That discovery prompted the scientists to look for hidden glows in other reptiles, and they found it in the webfoot gecko. It actually looks really cool. Looks really cool. Moving on. I don't know if you saw this video or not, but this golden retriever decided to hop on a ladder and climb the roof of its house. Yeah. So the owners thought the dog went missing, but no, just on the roof, checking out the scenery, looking for all the female dogs out there. Yeah, no. What really happened was Ace decided he wanted to help his owner take down the Christmas lights, and really didn't let the ladder stop him. It's all about the climb. While taking down Christmas lights from his roof one day, a man from Portland, Oregon, got a big surprise when he turned around to find that one of his 2 golden retrievers had followed him. I'm up here taking down the lights. Turn around. Ace climbs up this whole ladder by himself and is now on top of the roof. His owner, Vince Madison, said, in this video clip, which has been downloaded tens of thousands of times, Ace can be seen calmly walking along the roof, seemingly completely unbothered by being so far off the ground. Naturally, after being joined on the roof by Ace, Madison checked his surveillance footage to see exactly how it happened. Well, the video shows the K9 confidently making his way up the ladder step by step, while his brother Bo stands guard on the ground. Despite his ease with navigating the climb, the adventure marked Ace's first time going up a ladder. However, while the dog was able to make the trip up without any incidents, he did need some assistance heading back down to the ground and had to be carried off the ladder. For all that are asking, yes, the dog was safe. The dog was not injured, and they're hoping to keep the ladder away from the dog so he doesn't decide to put it up and crawl over the fence. All right, who's a horny frog out there? Gil? Talking about you? A species of Ecuadorian glass frog combines high-frequency croaking and a striking visual display to attract mates in what is a fascinating adaptation to a very noisy environment. See, these frogs typically use their iconic croaks to get noticed, but the vocalizations can't compete with loud sounds that exist in the environment. So how did the frogs adapt? Well, they get up on 2 legs and start waving their other front legs to look for mates, saying like, hey, I'm here. Let's do this thing. Let's procreate. Let's do the frog hop, if you know what I mean. Yes. So apparently new research published in Behavior Documents, the first known instance of this 2-pronged strategy in the glass frog family, happening in Ecuador and Colombia. Strategy has also been seen from frogs living in India, Borneo, and Brazil. A handful of other frogs around the world use visual signaling, additionally to high-pitched calls to communicate in really low, loud environments, said Rebecca Bruner, a PhD student at UC Berkeley and the author of the study. What's interesting is that the species are not closely related to each other, which means that these behaviors either evolved independently, but in response to similar environments. Maybe it's just they were watching humans. Maybe they have cable, and they have Frog Hub. Frog Hub, people. Frog Hub, not Toad Hub. That's disgusting. Frog Hub. Glass frogs tend to be lime green, but their skin surrounded by their abdomens is practically transparent, making their internal organs visible. Members of these types of frogs prefer to hang out on rocks, boulders, inside the spray zone of waterfalls. This may not seem a very pleasant place to live, but these wet, slippery rocks offer good protection from predators. Yeah, because you don't want to be eaten while you're looking for a mate. Scientists don't know about how the frogs are prompting this action or why it's happening. They haven't been able to figure that out. But nonetheless, these little froggies are getting lucky and lucky often. And finally tonight, A dog stolen in Denver, Colorado on New Year's Day inside an unlocked car was returned to its owner after being missing for 2 weeks. Donna Lopez said she told police that she left her black SUV in the parking lot of a convenience store with her Australian cattle dog Spitfire inside. And, turns around, came back, car was gone. Police said a 41-year-old driver, allegedly drunk, crashed the car a few blocks away, but Spitfire was nowhere to be found. As Denver temperatures plunged to well below, almost to zero, Lopez returned daily to find a field near the scene to see if the dog was there, but no Spitfire. Animal Control, though, found the dog by construction workers. They went there and cornered her. They called me up and brought her to me, and now I have my doggy back. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Thought of the Day happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air, because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Day is as follows. If you had a smoking gun video of a UFO or cryptid, would you release it to the public? Start with Mike, Jerry Pepsi Mike. I think that depends on the circumstances of how qualified or how I qualified something as a smoking gun. Alex, not anymore. I would wait so I could financially benefit from it and thus initiate more research. John said, yep, in a heartbeat. Haunted history. Would want to share the excitement and mystery of it all. It's what we all hope to find. None of it wouldn't be any fun unless we could all discuss it and marvel at the footage. Canadian Joe, in today's social climate, why would you? Even if it was 100% clear as day evidence, it would be met with skepticism, ridicule, etc. It's a no-win situation. Zach, I'd release it because people only live once and they deserve to know in their lifetimes. Citizen, I'd use it for a music video most likely. James, I would release it because maybe it would inspire a change of view in just one person. Twin Rose, I would release it for disclosure. Can you imagine how much it would be worth? Hashtag money. Chip, I would release it to the public because they have a right to know, and I know it to be true and would stand behind it. Jeff, I'd first use it to try and extort the governments around the world and aerospace companies into giving me a private tour of every nook and cranny of Area 51 and all the USAPs everywhere. If that doesn't work, yeah, I'll be all over TV with that sucker. Chaos. Well, I'd show it to a couple of my close friends, then go from there, but you need to remember they'll clear your computer and delete everything very, very quickly, so please share. Moving on. Let's go over here. Tim, yes, to settle others with doubts like me, no monetary incentive involved. Davey, yes, faster than you could say Zeta Reticulan Advanced Scouting Party in an anti-gravitic transmedium interstellar spacecraft. Brian, I would eventually release it, but in a controlled environment. Rose, release it, release it, release it. We all need to know. Kevin, no one would believe it. Everybody would call it fake. Well, let's continue on here. Kevin, another Kevin. Dave, I'd rather enjoy a frothy beatdown from time to time, the verbal abuse, children spitting, disdain from peers in the field, an old-fashioned public mockery session at the filling station while I'm topping off the tank. Well, it's just the thing to get the ticker hopping and those creative juices flowing for the next investigation. Gary, no, Dave, not the public. I would give it to you. What am I supposed to do with it? I just look at it and say, cool. Cool. Just like that. Joseph, to have it debunked? That is why Stephen Greer has so much more he doesn't publish and he shares with his people only. I've seen them. Gail, I don't believe I would release it to the public in any uncontrolled way. If I had such a piece of evidence, I would ask for assistance in releasing it from a couple of people with whom I would trust my life. Kevin, I want the truth. If I had evidence, I would let the entire world see anonymously. Barry, in today's world, any video can be faked by really clever people, so the video would be attacked and labeled a fraud unless you could prove otherwise. However, if you had a real retrieved UFO, or even its propulsion system, or a deceased cryptid, that might speak much more clearly than a video ever could. Mike, oh, Dave, that's a hard choice, bro. Anna, if they could take Bill Gates away and tell people to wake up to the crap that's going on, why not? Jeff, final word. It would give the debunkers something to do for a few days, that's for sure. Thank you to everybody taking part in the thought of the day. We'll do it all again soon. Thank you to Captain Shirk for the news, and Brent and Blake Cousins from Third Phase of Moon, Rich Giordano, Doc Skinner, Quincy Roser, and Apollo Asteria for coming on Spaced Out Radio talking UFOs all night long. We had a great time. I hope you enjoyed it as well, because I absolutely love this topic. Makes you want to go outside and stare up at the stars for a while, doesn't it? We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, at work, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone listening in our chat rooms tonight by going on YouTube, LGAB, Revolution Radio, Spreaker, Facebook, our website, and all the Snarkers and Snarkettes hanging out at hashtag Spaced Out Radio on Twitter. We love you tonight. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, yep, we've got room for them too. Good night.